interesting productions. Did someone leave? I guess someone has left, and that is a good reminder to turn off the enter-exit chime before we begin the reading. And so now we're live. So let us. So yeah, let me just let's introduce everyone. I'm Paul Sugarman. I'm going to be playing Belarius, and then I'll just go and Julie, will you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Julie Kirshner. I'm playing Yakumo.
And Michael?
I'm Michael Gardner, and I'm playing the Queen and a few other smaller parts later on.
And Bill?
And I am Bill, and I am playing a second gentleman, second lord, Hilario Cornelius Lucius, Caius Lucius, and a jailer. Mike.
Eleanor?
I'm Eleanor Elizabeth Foreman. I'm going to be singing a couple of songs. I'm a musician, and I'm also Guiderius. And I'm also a messenger on 2-3 occasions, and a British lord briefly.
And Jennifer?
I'm Jennifer Finger. I'm playing Tizania, the soothsayer, and the brother of Posthumus, and a Frenchman.
All right. John? John Peacock, are you there? Howdy.
Yes, I'm John L. Peacock. I'm playing Posthumus.
Thank you. Elena?
Hello, I'm Elena Rader, and I'm playing Imogen.
And Derek?
Hi, I'm Derek Tarson. I'm the playmaster here, and I am playing Cymbeline and assorted female roles for an interesting change.
All righty. And it does seem like we haven't gotten Anton yet, and we've just lost Angus. So isn't Angus one of the first ones, or in the gentleman?
No, actually it's Eleanor and Bill. So we could start with Angus.
We'll get back. Oh, also, Ken is here, Ken Wayne, if you want him to sort of be in standby for like if Anton or Angus can't come back, would you?
That's great.
Derek?
Yeah.
You said I'm in the first scene. Am I one of the gentlemen? I didn't know.
Yes,
Which
you're
one am I?
The first gentleman.
Okay, good to know that.
Well, if you read the email that Derek had sent
I did.
Well, you obviously
He sent me an email telling me what parts I was to play.
And the cheat sheet.
There's the one with the whole entire
With the whole spreadsheet and the cast list that I sent last night. It's on there.
Okay, well, you hadn't let me know, so I wasn't aware that there were. I'm perfectly happy.
Angus, you're back. Yay! Angus made it back. So, hi, Angus. We were wondering. But anyways, so I guess without further. Oh no! And here we have Anton has made it. Okay. Anton has made it. So it looks like.
Why not have Anton introduce himself while I'm marking my lines?
All right. Well,
my name is Anton Spivak, and I'll be playing Cloten.
All right. And Angus, you also made it back, so that's great.
Yeah, sorry about that. My system went down. I had to restart. Sorry. Angus Hepburn playing Arviragus.
Excellent.
Playing young for a change.
Yes, I'm playing your supposed father.
Yes.
Hi, Dad.
All right, so without further eloquence, let us.
Let me just change my name to First Gentleman.
All right, so basically, yeah, just to review, the way we do these things is we show them in gallery view. And so when you're not in the scene, you should stop your video and mute yourself. And when you're in the scene, you should be unmuted so you can be seen. And now we will begin with, Okay. Oh, great. My Zoom has just frozen. Let's see. Just before I begin. Just want to. Okay. All right.
You're coming through okay on me, Paul.
Yeah, I just can't control it to stop my video. However, I can stop my video from my other computer. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. The Tragedy of Cymbeline. Actus primus scena prima. Enter two gentlemen.
You do not meet a man but frowns. Our bloods no more obey the heavens than our courtiers still seem, as does the king's.
But what's the matter?
His daughter, and the heir of kingdom, whom he purposed to his wife's sole son, a widow that late he married, hath referred herself unto a poor but worthy gentleman. She's wedded, her husband banished, she imprisoned. All is outward sorrow, though I think the king be touched at very heart.
None but the king?
He that hath lost her too, so is the queen that most desired the match, but not a courtier. Although they wear their faces to the bent to the king's look, hath a heart that is not glad at the thing they scowl at.
And why so?
He that hath missed the princess is a thing too bad for bad report. And he that hath her, I mean that married her, alack good man, and therefore banished, is a creature such as to seek through the regions of the earth for one his like. There would be something failing in him that should compare. I do not think so fair and outward, and such stuff within endows a man but he.
You speak him far.
I do extend him, sir, within himself, crush him together rather than unfold his measure duly.
And what's his name and birth?
I cannot delve him to the root. His father was called Sicilius, who did join his honor against the Romans with Cymbeline, but had his titles by tenantians, whom he served with glory and admired success, so gained the suredition Leonatus, and had, besides this gentleman in question, 2 other sons, who in the wars of the time died with their swords in hand, for which their father, then old and fond of issue, took such sorrow that he quit being, and his gentle lady, big of this gentleman, our theme, deceased as he was born. The king, he takes the babe to his protection, calls him posthumous Leonatus, breeds him and makes him of his bedchamber, puts to him all the learnings that his time could make him the receiver of, which he took as we do air, as fast as 'twas ministered, and in spring became the harvest, lived in court, which rare it is to do, most praised, most loved, a sample to the youngest, to the more mature, a glass that feeded them, and to the graver, a child that guided dotards. To his mistress, for whom he is now banished, her own price proclaims how she esteemed him, and his virtue by her election may be truly read what kind of man he is.
I honor him even out of your report. But pray you tell me, is she sole child of the king?
His only child, he had 2 sons, if this be worth your hearing, mark it. The eldest of them at 3 years old in the swaddling clothes, the other from their nursery were stolen. And to this hour, no guess in knowledge which way they went.
How long is this ago?
Some 20 years.
That a king's children should be so conveyed, so slackly guarded, the search so slow that that could not trace them?
Howsoe'er 'tis strange, or that the negligence may well be laughed at. Yet, is it true, sir?
I do believe you. I do well believe you.
We must forbear. Here comes the gentleman, the queen, and princess.
Exeunt Scena Secunda. Enter the Queen, Posthumus, and Imogen.
No, be assured you shall not find me, daughter, after the slander of most stepmothers evil-eyed unto you. You're my prisoner, but your jailer shall deliver you the keys that lock up your restraint. For you, Posthumus, so soon as I can win the offended king, I will be known your advocate. Marry yet the fire of rage is in him, and 'twere good you leaned unto his sentence with what patience your wisdom may inform you.
Please, your highness, I will from hence today.
Well, you know the peril. I'll fetch a turn about the garden, pitying the pangs of barred affections. Though the king has charged you should not speak together.
Oh, disassembling courtesy, how fine this tyrant can tickle where she wounds. My dearest husband, I something fear my father's wrath, but nothing, always reserve my holy duty, what his rage can do on me. You must be gone, and I shall here abide the hourly shot of angry eyes, not comforted to live, but there is this jewel in the world that I may see again.
My queen, my mistress. Oh, lady, weep no more, lest I give cause to be suspected of more tenderness than doth become a man. I will remain the loyalest husband that did e'er plights troth by residence in Rome at one Philornios, who to my father was a friend, to me known but by letter. Thither writes to my queen, and with mine eyes I'll drink the words you send, though ink be made of gall.
Be brief, I pray you. If the king come, I shall incur I know not how much of his displeasure. Yet I'll move him to walk this way. I never do him wrong, but he does buy my injuries to be friends, pays dear for my offenses.
Should we be taking leave as long as a term as yet we have to live, that lonesome to depart would grow? Adieu.
Nay, stay a little. Were you but riding forth to air yourself, such parting were too petty. Look, here, love. This diamond was my mother's. Take it. Heart, but keep it, will you woo another wife when Imogen is dead?
How? Another? Gentle gods, give me but this I have, and sear up my embracements from a next with bonds of death. Remain, oh here, while sense can keep it on, and sweetest, fairest, as I my poor self did exchange for you to your infinite loss. So in our trifles, still I win of you. For my sake, wear this. It is a manacle of love. I'll place it upon the fairest prisoner.
Oh, the gods! When shall we see again?
Enter Cymbeline and lords.
Alack, the king.
Thou basest thing, avoid hence from my sight. If after this command thou froth the court with thy unworthiness, thou diest. Away, thou poison to my blood.
The gods protect you and bless the good remainders of the court. I am gone.
There cannot be a pinch in death more sharp than this.
Oh, disloyal thing, thou shouldst repair my youth. Thou heapst a year's age on me.
I beseech you, sir, harm not yourself with your vexation. I am senseless of your wrath. A touch more rare subdues all pangs, all fears.
Past grace? Obedience?
Past hope, and in despair, that way past grace.
That mightst have had the sole son of my queen.
Oh, blessed that I might not. I chose an eagle and did avoid a puttock.
Thou tookst a beggar, wouldst have made my throne a seat for baseness.
No, I rather added a luster to it.
Oh, thou vile one.
Sir, it is your fault that I have loved Posthumus. You bred him as my playfellow, and he is a man worth any woman. Overbuys me almost the sum he pays.
What, are thou mad?
Almost, sir. Heaven restore me, would I were a neatherd's daughter, and my Leonatus our neighbor shepherd's son.
Thou foolish thing. They were again together. You have done not after our command. Away with her and pen her up.
Beseech your patience, peace, dear lady, daughter, peace. Sweet sovereign, leave us to ourselves and make yourself some comfort out of your best advice.
Nay, let her languish. A drop of blood a day, and being aged, die of this folly.
Exit. Enter Pisanio.
You must give way. Here is your servant. How now, sir? What news?
My lord, your son drew on my master.
Huh? No harm, I trust, is done.
There might have been, but that my master rather played than fought, and had no help of anger. They were parted by gentlemen at hand.
I am very glad on it.
Imogen, you're muted. Imogen, you're muted again. You muted and unmuted, and you're still muted. Sorry.
Imogen, darling.
Pardon me. Your sons, my father's friend, he takes his part to draw upon an exile. Oh, brave sir. I would they were in Afric, both together, myself by with a needle, but I might prick the goer back. Why came you from your master?
On his command. He would not suffer me to bring him to the haven. Left these notes of what commands I should be subject to when it pleased you to employ me.
This has been your faithful servant. I dare lay mine honor he will remain so.
I humbly thank your highness.
Pray, walk a while.
About some half hour hence, pray you speak with me. You shall at least go see my lord aboard, for this time leave me.
Exeunt. Scene Tertia. Enter Cloten and two lords.
Sir, I would advise you to shift a shirt. The violence of action has made you a reek as a sacrifice, where air comes out, air comes in. There's none abroad so wholesome as that you vent.
If my shirt were bloody, then to shift it. Have I hurt him?
No, faith, not so much as his patience.
Hurt him? His body's a passable carcass. He be not hurt. It is through a thoroughfare for steel if it be not hurt.
Steel isn't dead. It went the backside of the town.
The villain would not stand me.
No, but he fled forward still toward your face.
Stand you? You have land enough of your own, but he added to your having, gave you some ground.
As many inches as you have oceans, puppies.
I would they had not come between us.
So would I, till you had measured how long a fool you were upon the ground.
And that she should love this fellow and refuse me.
If it be a sin to make a true election, she is damned.
Sir, as I told you always, her beauty and her brain go not together. Well, she's a good sign, but I have seen small reflection of her wit.
She shines not upon fools, lest the reflection should hurt her.
Come, out to my chamber, would there had been some hurt done.
I wish not so, unless it had been the fall of an ass, which is no great hurt.
You'll go with us?
I'll attend your worship.
Nay, come, let's go together.
Well, my lord.
Scene a quarter, enter Imogen and Pisanio.
I would thou grewst unto the shores of the haven, and question every sail, if he should write, and I not have it, 'twere a paper lost and offered mercy. What was the last that he spoke to thee?
It was his queen, his queen.
Then waved his handkerchief?
And kissed it, madam.
Senseless linen, happier therein than I, and that was all.
No, madam. For so long as he could make me with his eye or ear, distinguish him from others, he did keep the deck with glove or hat or handkerchief, still waving as the fits and stirs of his mind could best express how slow his soul sailed on, how swift his ship.
Thou shouldst have made him as little as a crow, or less, ere left to after eye him.
Madam, so I did.
I would have broke mine eye strings, cracked them, but to look upon him till the diminution of space had pointed him sharp as my needle. Nay, followed him till he had melted from the smallness of a gnat to air, and then have turned mine eyes and wept. But good Bassanio, when shall we hear from him?
Be sure, madam, with his next vantage.
I did not take my leave of him, but had most pretty things to say, ere I could tell him how I would think on him at certain hours, such thoughts and such, or I could make him swear the sheaves of Italy should not betray mine interest and his honor, or have charged him at the 6th hour of morn at noon or midnight to encounter me with orisons, for then I am in heaven for him, or ere I could give him that parting kiss which I had set betwixt two charming words, comes in my father, and like the tyrannous breathing of the north, shakes all our buds from growing.
Madam, desires your humble highness company.
Those things I bid you do, get them dispatched. I will attend the queen.
Madam, I shall.
Venus Quinta.
Enter Philario, Lachymo, a Frenchman, a Dutchman, and a Spaniard.
Believe it, sir. I have seen him in Britain. He was then of a crescent note, expected to prove so worthy as since he had been allowed the name of. But I could have then looked on him without the help of admiration, though the catalogue of his endowments had been tabled by the side, and I to peruse them by items.
You speak of him when he was less furnished than now he is, with that which makes him both without and within.
I have seen him in France. We had very many there. Could we hold this one with the firm eyes as he?
This matter of marrying his king's daughter, wherein he must be weighted rather by her value than his own, words him, I doubt not, a great deal from the matter.
And his banishment?
Aye, and the approbation of those that weep this lamentable divorce under her colours are wonderfully to extend him, be it but to fortify her judgment, which else an easy battery might lay down for taking a beggar without less quality. But how comes it he is to sojourn with you? How creeps acquaintance?
His father and I were soldiers together, to whom I have been often bound for no less than my life. Here
Enter
comes,
Posthumus.
yes, here comes the Briton. Let him be so entertain amongst you as suits with gentlemen of your knowing to a stranger of his quality. I beseech you all be better known to this gentleman, whom I commend to you as a noble friend of mine. How worthy he is, I will leave to appear hereafter rather than story him in his own hearing.
Sir, we have known together in Orleans.
Since when I have been debtor to you for courtesies, which I will be ever to pay, and yet pay still.
Sir, who will rate me for kindness? I was glad I did it to my countrymen and you. It'd been pity you should have been put together. With so mortal purpose as then each bore upon importance so slight and trivial in nature.
By your pardon, sir, when I, then a young traveler, rather shunned to go even with what I heard, then in my every action to be guided by others' experiences. But upon my mending judgments, if I offend to say it is mended, my quarrel was not altogether slight.
Faith, yes, to be put to the arbitrament of swords, and by such two that would by all likelihood have confounded one the other, or have found both.
Can we with manners ask what was the difference?
Definitely, I think 'twas a contention in public, which may, without contradiction, suffer the report. It was much like an argument that fell out last night, where each of us fell in praise of our country mistresses. This gentleman, at such time vouching, upon warrant of bloody affirmation, his to be more fair, virtuous, wise, chaste, constant, qualified, and less attemptable than any, the rarest of our ladies in France.
That lady is not now living, or this gentleman's opinion of this worn out.
She holds her virtue still, and I my mind.
You must not so far prefer her for ours of Italy.
Being so far provoked as I was in France, I would abate her nothing, though I profess myself her adorer, not her friend.
As fair and as good. A kind of hand-in-hand comparison had been something too fair and too good for any lady in Britain. If she went before others I have seen as that diamond of yours, outlusters many I have beheld, I could not believe she excelled many, but I have not seen the most prettiest diamond that is, nor you, the lady.
I praised her as I rated her, so do I my stone.
What do you esteem it at?
More than the world enjoys.
Either your unparagoned mistress is dead, or she outprized by a trifle.
You are mistaken. The one may be sold or given, or if there were wealth enough for the purchase, or merits for the gift. The other is not a thing for sale. The only only the gifts of the gods.
Which the gods have given you.
Which by their graces I will keep.
You may wear her and title yours, but you know strange foul light upon neighboring ponds. Your ring may be stolen too, so your brace of unprizable estimations, but one is but frail and the other casual. A cunning thief or a that way accomplished courtier would hazard the winning both of first and last.
Your Italy contains none so accomplished a courtier to convince the honor of my mistress. If in the holding or loss of that you term her frail, I do nothing doubt you have store of thieves. Notwithstanding, I fear not my ring.
Let us leave here, gentlemen.
Sir, with all my heart, this worthy signor, I thank him, makes no stranger of me. We are familiar at first.
With 5 times more conversation, I should get round of your fair mistress, make her go back even to the yielding. Had I admittance, an opportunity to friend?
No.
I dare thereupon pawn the moiety of my estate to your ring, which in my opinion o'ervalues at something, but I make my wager rather against your confidence than her reputation. And to bar your office therein too, I durst attempt it against any lady in the world.
You are a great deal abused in too bold a persuasion. I doubt not you sustain that you are worthy of by your attempt.
What's that?
A repulse, though your attempt, as you call it, deserve more. A punishment, too.
Gentlemen, enough of this. It came in too suddenly. And let it die as it was born, and I pray you be better acquainted.
Would I had put my estate and my neighbors on the approbation of what I have spoke.
What lady would you choose to assail?
Yours! whom in constancy you think stands so safe. I will lay you 10,000 ducats to your ring, then commend me to the court where your lady is, with no more advantage than the opportunity of a second conference, and I will bring from hence that honor of yours, which you imagine so reserved.
Oh, I will wage against your gold. Gold to it. My ring I hold dear as my finger. 'Tis part of it.
You are a friend, and therein the wiser. If you buy ladies' flesh at 1,000,000 a dram, you cannot preserve it from tainting. But I see you have some religion in you that you
This is but a
fear.
custom of your tongue. You bear a graver purpose, I hope.
I am the master of my speeches and would undergo what's spoken, I swear.
Will you? I shall but lend my diamond till your return. Let there be covenants drawn between us. My mistress exceeds in goodness the hugeness of your unworthy thinking. I dare you to this match. Here's my ring.
I will have it no lay.
By the gods, it is one. If I bring you no sufficient testimony that I have enjoyed the dearest bodily part of your mistress, my 10,000 ducats are yours. So is your diamond too. But if I come off and leave her in such honor as you have trust in, she your jewel, this your jewel, and my gold are yours, provided I have your commendation for my more free entertainment.
I embrace these conditions. Let us have articles betwixt us. Only thus far you shall answer. If you make your voyage upon her, and give me directly understand, you have prevailed. I am no further your enemy. She is not worth our debate. If she'll remain usurped, you not making it appear otherwise, for your ill opinion and the assaults you have made to her chastity, you shall answer me with your sword.
Your hand, a covenant. We will have these things set down by lawful counsel, and straight away for Britain, lest the bargain should catch cold and starve. I will fetch my gold and have our 2 wagers recorded.
Agreed.
Does this hold, think you?
Signor Giacomo will not permit. Pray, let us follow him.
Exeunt. Scena sexta. Enter Queen, ladies, and Cornelius.
While yet the dew's on ground, gather those flowers. Make haste. Who has the note of them?
I, madam.
Dispatch.
Exit ladies.
Now, Master Doctor, have you brought those drugs?
Please with your highness, I hear they are, madam, but I beseech your grace without offense. My conscience bid me ask, wherefore you have commanded me these most poisonous compounds, which are the movers of a languishing death, but though slow, deadly.
I wonder, Doctor, thou ask such a question. Have I not been thy pupil long? Hast thou now learned me how to make perfumes, distill, preserve? Yea, so that our great king himself doth woo me oft for my confections. Having thus far proceeded, unless you think me devilish, is it not met that I did amplify my judgment in other conclusions? I will try the forces of these thy compounds on such creatures as we count not worth the hanging, but none human, to try the vigor of them, and apply allayments to their act, and by them gather their several virtues and effects.
Your highness shall from this practice but make hard your heart. Besides, seeing these effects will be both noisome and infectious.
Oh, content thee. Here comes a flattering rascal. Upon him will I first work. He's for his master, an enemy to my son. How now, Pisanio? Doctor, your service for this time is ended. Take your own way.
I do suspect you, madam, that you shall do no harm.
Hark thee, a word.
I do not like her. She doth think she has strange lingering poisons. I do not her spirit, and will not trust one of her malice with a drug of such damned nature. Those she has will stupefy and dull the sense a while, which first perchance shall prove on cats and dogs, then afterward up higher. But there is no danger in what show of death it makes, or than the locking up the spirit's time to be more fresh, reviving. She is fooled with the most false effect, and I, a truer, so to be false with her.
No further service, doctor, until I send for thee.
Humbly, take my leave.
Exit.
Weep she still, sayst thou? Dost thou think in time she will not quench and let instructions enter where folly now possesses? Do thou work. When thou shalt when thou shalt bring me word she loves my son, I'll tell thee on the instant thou art then as great as thy master. Greater, for his fortunes all lie speechless, and his name is at last gasp. Return he cannot, nor continue where he is. To shift his being is to exchange one misery with another, and every day that comes to decay a day's work in him. What, shall thou expect to be dependent on a thing that leans, who cannot be new built, who has no friends so much as but to prop him up? Oh dear. I just lost my place, darling. I'm so sorry. Darling.
Middle, 2/3 of the way down, 26.
Thou takest it up. Oh, thou knowest not what, but take it for thy labor. It is a thing I made, which hath the king 5 times redeemed from death. I do not know what is more cordial. Nay, I prithee, take it. It is an earnest of a father good that I mean to thee. Tell thy mistress how the case stands with her. Do it as from thyself. Think what a chance thou changest on, but think thou hast thy mistress still, to boot my son, who shall take notice of thee. I'll move the king to any shape of thy preferment, such as thou desirest. And then myself, I chiefly that set thee on this desert, am bound to load thy merit richly. Call my woman.
Exit Bassanio.
Her sly and constant knave, not to be shaked, the agent for his master and the remembrance of her to hold the hand fast to her lord. I have given him that, which if he take, shall quite unpeople her of lieges for her sweetie, and which she, after except she bend her humor, shall be assured to taste it too.
Enter Bassanio and ladies.
So well done, well done. The violets, cowslips, and the primroses bear to my closet. Fare thee well, Bassanio. Think on my words.
Exit queen and ladies.
Shall do. But when to my good lord I prove untrue, I'll choke myself. There's all I'll do for you.
Exit. Scena Septima. Enter Imogen alone.
A father cruel and a stepdame false, a foolish suitor to a wedded lady that hath her husband banished. Oh, that husband, my supreme crown of grief, and those repeated vexations of it, had I been thief stolen, as my 2 brothers, happy but most miserable is the desire that's glorious. Blessed be those, how mean soe'er, that have their honest wills, which seasons comfort. Who may this be? Fie.
Enter Bassanio and Iachimo.
Madam, a noble gentleman of Rome comes from my lord with letters.
Change you, madam. The worthy Leonatus is in safety and greets your highness dearly.
Thanks, good sir, you're kindly welcome.
All of her that is out of door most rich. If she be furnished with a mind so rare, she is alone the Arabian bird, and I have lost my wager. Boldness be my friend, arm me audacity from head to foot, or like the Parthian I shall flying fight, rather directly fly.
Imogen reads.
He is one of the noblest note to whose kindness I am most infinitely tied. Reflect upon him accordingly, as you value your trust. Leonatus. So far I read aloud, but even the very middle of my heart is warmed by the rest. And take it thankfully. You are welcome, worthy sir, as I have words to bid you, and shall find it so, in all that I can do.
Thanks, fairest lady. What, are men mad? Hath nature given them eyes to see this vaulted arch and the rich crop of sea and land, which can distinguish twixt the fiery orbs above and the twin stones upon the numbered beach? And can we not partition make with spectacle so precious twixt fair and foul?
What makes your admiration?
It cannot be in the eye. For apes and monkeys twixt two such she's would chatter this way and condemn with mows the other. Nor the judgment for idiots in that case of favor would be wisely definite, nor the appetite slattery to such neat excellence opposed should not desire vomit emptiness, nor so allured to feed.
What is the matter, Tro?
The cloyed will, that satiate yet unsatisfied desire, that tub both filled and running, ravening first the lamb, longs after for the garbage.
Dear sir, thus raps you. Are you well?
Thanks, madam. Well, beseech you, sir, desire my man's abode where I did leave him. He's strange and peevish.
I was going, sir, to give him welcome.
Continues well, my lord? His health beseech you?
Well, madam.
Is he disposed to mirth? I hope he is.
Oh, exceeding pleasant. None a stranger there so merry and so gamesome. He is called the Britain Reveller.
When he was here, he did incline to sadness, and oft times not knowing why.
I never saw him sad. There was a Frenchman, his companion, one an eminent monsieur that it seems much loves a galleon girl at home. He furnaces the thick sighs from him, whilst the jolly Briton, your lord, I mean, laughs from his free lungs, cries, "Oh, can my sides hold? To think this man who knows by history, report, or his own proof what woman is, yea, what she cannot choose but must be, wills free hours languish for assured bondage."
Will my lord say so?
Ay, madam, with his eyes in flood with laughter. It is a recreation to be by and hear him mock the Frenchman. But heavens knows some men are much to blame.
Not he, I hope.
Not he. But yet, heaven's bounty towards him might be used more thankfully. In himself 'tis much, in you, which I account his beyond all talents, whilst I'm bound to wonder, I am bound to pity too.
What do you pity, sir?
Two creatures, heartily.
Am I one, sir? You look on me. What rack discern you in me deserves your pity?
Lamentable. What to hide me from the radiant sun and solace in the dungeon by a snuff?
I pray you, sir, deliver with more openness your answers to my demands. Why do you pity me?
That others do. I was about to say, enjoy your, but It is an office of the gods to venge it, not mine to speak on it.
You do seem to know something of me or what concerns me, pray you, since doubting things go ill often hurts more than to be sure they do. For certainties either are past remedies or timely knowing the remedy then born. Discover to me what both you spur and stop.
Had I this cheek to bathe my lips upon, this hand whose every touch would force the feeder's soul to the oath of loyalty, this object which takes prisoner the wild motion of mine eye, firing it only here, should I, damn then, slaver with lips as common as the stairs that mount the Capitol, join gripes with hands made hard with hourly falsehood as with labor, then by peeping in an eye base and illustrious as the smoky light that's fed with stinking tallow, it were fit that all the plagues of hell should at one time encounter with revolt.
My lord, I fear, has forgotten Britain.
And himself. Not I inclined to this intelligence pronounce the beggary of this change, but 'tis your graces that from my mutest conscience to my tongue charms this report out.
Let me hear no more.
O dearest soul, your cause doth strike my heart with pity. That doth make me sick. A lady so fair and fastened to an emperor would make the greatest king double, to be partnered with tomboys hired, with that self-exhibition which your own coffers yield, which diseased ventures that play with all infirmities for gold, which rottenness can lend nature such boiled stuff as might well poison poison. Be revenged, or she that bore you was no queen, and you recoil from your great stock.
Revenged? How should I be revenged? If this be true, as I have such a heart that both mine ears must not in haste abuse, if it be true, how should I be revenged?
If he should make me live like Diana's priest betwixt cold sheets, whilst he is vaunting variable ramps in your despite upon your purse, revenge it. I dedicate myself up to your sweet pleasure, more noble than that runagate to your bed, and will continue fast to your affection, still close as sure.
What ho, Bassanio?
Let me my service tender on your lips.
Away! I do condemn mine ears that have so long attended thee. If thou wert honorable, thou wouldst have told this tale for virtue, not for such an end thou seekst as base, as strange. Thou wrongst a gentleman who is as far from thy report as thou from honor, and solicits here a lady that disdains thee and the devil alike. What ho, Bassanio? The king my father shall be made acquainted of thy assault, if he shall think it fit. A saucy stranger in his court, to mart as in a Romish stew, and to expound his beastly maid to us. He hath a court he little cares for, and a daughter who he not respects at all. What ho, Bassanio?
Oh, happy Leonatus, I may say, the credit of thy lady hath of thee deserves thy trust, and thy most perfect goodness hath assured credit. Blessed live you long, a lady to the worthiest sir that ever country called his, and you his mistress only for the most worthiest fit. Give me your pardon. I have spoke this to know if your affiance were deeply rooted, and shall make your lord, the which he is, new or, and he is one the truest mannered, such a holy witch hath he enchant societies into him, hath all men's heart are his.
You make amends.
He sits amongst men like a defended god. Yet a kind of honor sets him off, more than a mortal seeming. Be not angry, most mighty princess, that I have adventured to try your taking of a false report, which hath honored with confirmation your great judgment in the election of Sir so rare, which you know cannot err. The love I bear him makes me to fan you thus, but the gods made you, unlike all others, chaffless. Pray your pardon.
All's well, sir. Take my power in the court for yours.
My humble thanks. I'd almost forgot to entreat your grace, but in a small respect, but yet of moment too, for it concerns your lord, myself, and other noble friends or partners in this business.
Pray, what is't?
Oh, some dozen Romans of us, and your lord, the best feather of our wing, have mingled sums to buy a present for the emperor, which I, the factor for the rest, have done in France. 'Tis plate of rare design and jewels of rich and exquisite form, their values great, and I am something curious, being strange to have them in safe stowage. May it please you to take them in protection?
Willingly, and pawn my honor for their safety, since my lord hath interest in them, I will keep them in my bedchamber.
They are in a trunk attended by my men. I will make bold to send them to you, only for this night. I must aboard tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, I beseech, or I shall short my word by lengthening my return. From Gallia I crossed the seas on purpose, and on promise to see your grace.
I thank you for your pains, but not away tomorrow.
Oh, I must, madam. Therefore I shall beseech you, if you please, to greet your lord with writing. Do it tonight. I have outstood my time, which is material to the tender of our present.
I will write. Send your trunk to me, it shall be safe kept, and truly yielded you. You're very welcome.
Exeunt. Actus secundus scena prima. Enter Cloten and the two lords.
Was there ever man had such luck when I kissed the jack upon an upcast to be hid away? I had 100 pounds on't, and then a horse and jackanapes must take me up for swearing as if I borrowed mine oaths of him, and might not spend them at my pleasure.
What got he by that? You have broke his pate with your bowl.
If his wit had been like him that broke it, it would have run out, all out.
When a gentleman is disposed to swear, it is not for any standers by to curtail his oaths. Ha!
No, my lord, nor crop the ears of them.
Horse and dog, I gave him satisfaction. Would he have been one of my rank?
Would have smelled like a fool.
I am not vexed more at anything in the earth. A pox on't, I'd rather not be so noble as I am. They dare not fight with me, because of the queen my mother. Every jack slave hath his belly full of fighting, and I must go up and down like a cock that nobody can match.
You are the cock and capon too, and you crow cock with your comb on.
Sayest thou?
It is not fit your lordship should undertake every companion that you give offense to.
No, I know that, but it is fit I should commit offense to my interiors.
Do you hear the strange?
If it fit your lordship only.
Why, so I say.
Lord?
Did you hear of a stranger that's come to court night?
A stranger? And I not know on't?
He's a strange fellow himself, and knows it not.
There's an Italian come, and 'tis thought one of Leonatus' friends.
Leonatus? A banished rascal, and he's another. Whatsoever he be, who told you this stranger?
Or one of your lordship's pages.
Is it fit I went to look upon him? Is there no derogation?
One of your lordship's pages.
You cannot
Is it fit I went
derogate,
to
my
look
lord.
upon him? Is there no derogation in it?
You cannot derogate, my lord.
Not easily, I think.
You are a fool, granted. Therefore, your issues of being foolish do not derogate.
Come, I'll go see this Italian. What have I lost today at balls? I'll win tonight of him. Come, go!
I'll attend your lordship. It's such a crafty devil as this his mother should yield the world this ass, a woman that bears all down with her brain, and this her son cannot take 2 from 20 for his heart and leave 18. Alas, poor princess, thou divine Imogen, that thou endurest betwixt a father and thy stepdam governed, a mother hourly coining plots, a wooer more hateful than the foul expulsion is of thy dear husband. And then that horrid act of the divorce, he'll make the heavens hold firm and the walls of thy dear honor. Keep unshaked that temple, thy fair mind, and thou mayst stand to enjoy thy banished lord and this great land.
Exeunt. Scena secunda. Enter Imogen in her bed and a lady.
Who's there? My woman, Helene?
Please you, madam.
What hour is't?
Almost midnight, madam.
I have read 3 hours, then mine eyes are weak. Fold down the leaf where I have left to bed, and take not away the taper, leave it burning. And if thou canst awake by 4 the clock, I prithee call me. Sleep has seized me. Sleep has seized me wholly. To your protection I commend me, gods, from fairies and the tempters of the night. Good, beseech you.
Sleeps. Iachimo from the trunk.
The crickets sing, and man's o'er labor sense repairs itself by rest. Our Tarquin thus did softly press the rushes ere he wakened the chastity he wounded. Cytherea, how bravely thou becomest thy bed, fresh lily and whiter than the sheets, that I might touch, but kiss, one kiss. Rubies unparagoned, how dearly they do it. Ah, 'tis her breathing that perfumes the chamber thus. The flame of the taper bows toward her and would underpeep her lids to see the enclosed lights, now canopied under these windows, white and azure laced, with blue of heavens once tinct. But my design, to note the chamber, I will write all down. Such and such pictures, there the window, such the adornment of her bed, the arras figures, why such and such, and the contents of the story. Aye, but some natural notes about her body, above 10,000 meaner movables would testify to enrich mine inventory. Oh, sleep, thou ape of death, lie dull upon her, and be her sense but as a monument, thus in a chapel lying. Come off, come off. As slippery as the Gordian knot was hard, 'tis mine, and this will witness outwardly as strongly as the conscience do it within, to the maddening of her lord. On her left breast, a mole, cincus spotted, like the crimson drops in the bottom of a cowslip. Here's a voucher stronger than ever law could make. This secret will force him think I have picked the lock and tamed the treasure of her honor. No more. To what end? Why should I write this down? That's riveted, screwed to my memory. She hath been reading late the tale of Tereus. Here the leaves turned down where Philomel gave up. I have enough. To the trunk again, and shut the spring on it. Swift, swift, you dragons of the night, the dawning made bare the raven's eye. I lodge in fear, though this a heavenly angel. Hell is here.
Clock strikes.
1, 2, 3. Time.
Exit. Scene at Tertia. Enter Cloten and Lords.
Your lordship is the most patient man in loss, the most coldest that ever turned up ace.
It would make any man cold to lose.
Yeah, but not every man patient after the noble temper of your lordship. You are most hot and furious when you win.
Winning will put any man to courage. If I could get this foolish Imogen, I should have gold enough. It is almost morning, is not?
Day, my lord.
This music would come. I'm advised to give her music o' mornings. They say it will penetrate. Come on, tune! If you can penetrate her with your fingering, so we'll try with tongue too. If none will do, let her remain. But I'll never give o'er. First, the very excellent, good, conceited thing. After a wonderful sweet air with admirable rich words to it, and then let her consider.
Hark, 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 the lark at heaven's gate sings, at heaven's gate sings, and fiskins to rise, his steeds to water at those springs, on chalice flowers that lies, and winking merry buds begin to ope their golden eyes. With everything that pretty is, my lady sweet, arise, 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 my lady sweet, arise.
So get you gone. If this penetrate, I will consider your music the better. If it do not, it is a voice in her ears with horsehairs and calf's gut, nor the voice of unpaid eunuch to boot can never amd.
Enter Cymbeline and Queen.
Here comes the king.
I am glad I was up so late, for that's the reason I was up so early. He cannot choose but take this service I have done, fatherly. Good morrow to your majesty and to my gracious mother.
Attend you here the door of our stern daughter. Was she not forth?
I have assailed her with musics, but she vouchsafes no notice.
The exile of her minion is too new. She hath not yet forgot him. Some more time must wear the prince of his remembrance on it, and then she's yours.
You are most bound to the king, who lets go by no vantages that may prefer you to his daughter. Frame yourself to orderly solicity, and be friended with aptness of the season. Make denials, increase your services, so seem as if you were inspired to do those duties which you tender to her, that you will in all obey her. Say when command to your dismission tends, and therein you are senseless.
Senseless? Not so.
So like you, sir. Ambassadors from Rome. The one is Caius Lucius.
A worthy fellow, albeit he comes in an angry purpose now. But that's no fault of his. We must receive him according to the honor of his sender, and towards himself, his goodness forespent on us, we must extend our notice. Our dear son, when you have given good morning to your mistress, attend the queen and us. We shall have need to employ you toward this Roman. Come, our queen.
If she be up, I'll speak with her. If not, let her lie still and dream. By her leave, ho, I know her women are about her. What if I do line one of their hands? 'Tis gold which buys admittance. Oft it doth, yea, and makes Diana's rangers false themselves. yield up their dear to the stand of the stealer, and 'tis gold which makes the true man killed, and saves the thief. Nay, sometimes hangs both thief and true man. What can it not do and undo? I will make one of her women lawyer to me, for I yet not understand the case myself. By your leave.
Knocks. Enter a lady.
Who's there that knocks?
A gentleman.
No more.
Yes, and a gentlewoman's son.
That's more. Then some whose tailors are as dear as yours can justly boast of. What's your lordship's pleasure?
Your lady's person, is she ready?
Aye, to keep her chamber.
There is gold for you. Sell me your good report.
How? My good name, or to report of you what I should think is good? Of the princess.
Enter Imogen.
Good morrow, fairest sister, your sweet hand.
Good morrow, sir. You lay out too much pains for purchasing but trouble. The thanks I give is telling you that I am poor of thanks and scarce can spare them.
Still I swear I love you.
If you but said so, 'twere as deep with me. If you swear still, your recompense is still that I regard it not.
This is no answer.
But that you shall not say I yield, being silent, I would not speak. I pray you spare me. Faith, I shall unfold equal discourtesy to your best kindness. One of your great knowing should learn, being taught, forbearance.
To leave you in your madness, 'twere my sin, I will not.
Fools are not mad folks.
Do you call me fool?
As I am mad, I do. If you'll be patient, I'll no more be mad. That cures us both. I am much sorry, sir, you put me to forget a lady's manners by being so verbal, and learn now for all that I which know my heart do here pronounce. By the very truth of it, I care not for you, and am no near the lack of charity to accuse myself I hate you, which I had rather you felt than make me boast.
You sin against obedience, which you owe your father, for the contract you pretend with that base wretch, one bred of alms and fostered with cold dishes, with scraps of the court, it is no contract, none, and though it be allowed in meaner parties, yet who than he more mean, to knit their souls, on whom there is no more dependency, but brats and beggary, in self-figured knot, yet you are curbed from that enlargement by the consequence of the crown, and must not soil the precious note of it, with a base slave, a hilding for a livery, a squire's cloth, a panther not so eminent.
Profane fellow, wert thou the son of Jupiter, and no more but what thou art besides, thou wert too base to be his groom. Thou wert dignified enough, even to the point of envy, if 'twere made comparative for your virtues to be stilled, the under hangman of his kingdom, and hated for being preferred so well.
The south fog rot him.
He never can meet more mischance than come to be but named of thee. His meanest garment that ever hath but clipped his body is dearer in my respect than all the heirs above thee, were they all made such men. How now, Pisanio?
His garments? Now the devil.
To Dorothy, my woman, hie thee presently.
His garment?
I am sprited with a fool, frighted and angered, cursed. Go bid my woman search for a jewel that too casually hath left mine arm. It was thy master's. Shrew me, if I would lose it for a revenue of any kings in Europe, I do think I saw it this morning. Confident I am. Last night 'twas on mine arm. I kissed it. I hope it be not gone, to tell my lord that I kissed aught but he.
Antonio. 'Twill not be lost.
I hope so. Go and search.
You have abused me. His meanest garment?
Aye, I said so, sir. If you will make it an action, call witness to it.
I will inform your father.
Your mother, too. She's my good lady and will conceive, I hope, but the worst of me. So I leave you, sir, to the worst of discontent.
Exit.
I'll be revenged. His meanest garment? Well.
Exit. Scena quarta. Enter Posthumus and Philario.
Fear it not, sir. I would I were so sure to win the king. As I am bold, her honor will remain hers.
What means do you make to him?
Not any, but abide the change of time. Quake in the present winter state. I wish that warmer days would come. In these feared hope, I barely gratify your love. They failing, I must die much your debtor.
Your very goodness and your company o'erpays all I can do. By this your king hath heard of great Augustus, Caius Lucius, will do his commission thoroughly, and I think he'll grant the tribute, send the arages, or look upon the Romains, whose remembrance is yet fresh in their grief.
I do believe, status though I am none, are like to be, that this will prove a war, and you shall hear the legion now in Gallia sooner landed in not our fearing Britain than have tidings of any penny tribute paid. Our countrymen, the men more ordered, when then Julius Caesar smiled at the lack of skill, but found their courage worthy of his frowning at. Their discipline, now winged in their courages, will make known to their approvers they are people, such that mend upon the world.
Enter Iachimo.
See Iachimo.
The swiftest hearts that have posted by your land, and wind of all the corners kissed your sails to make your vessel nimble.
Welcome, sir.
I hope the briefness of your answer made the speediness of your return.
Your lady is one of the fairest that I ever looked upon.
Therewithal the best, or let her beauty look through the casement to allure false hearts and be false with them.
Here are letters for you.
Oh, the tenor good, I trust.
'Tis very like.
Was Caius Lucius in the Britain court when you were there?
He was expected then, but not approached.
All is well yet. Sparkles this stone as it was wont, or is not too dull for your good wearing?
If I have lost it, I should have lost the worth of it in gold. I'll make a journey twice as far to enjoy a second night of such sweet shortness, which was mine in Britain, for the ring is won.
The stone's too hard to come by.
Not a whit, your lady being so easy.
Make note, sir, your loss, your sport. I hope you know that we must not continue friends.
Good sir, we must if you keep covenant. Had I not brought the knowledge of your mistress home, I grant we were to question further, but I now profess myself the winner of her honor, together with your ring, and not the wronger of her or you having proceeded, but by both your wills.
If you can make apparent that yon have tasted her in bed, my hand and ring is yours. If not, the foul opinion you had of her pure honor, gains or losses, your sword or mine, or masterless leave both, to who shall find them?
Sir, my circumstances being so near the truth as I will make them, must first induce you to believe, whose strength I will confirm with the oath, which I doubt not you'll give me leave to spare when you shall find you need it not.
Proceed.
Oh, first, her bedchamber, where I confess I slept not, but profess that was well worth watching. It was hanged with tapestry of silk and silver, the story Proud Cleopatra, where she met her Roman, and Cydnus swelled above the banks, or for the press of boats or pride. A piece of work so bravely done, so rich, that it did strive in workmanship and value, which I wondered could be so rarely and exactly wrought, since the true life on it was...
This is true. And this you might have been heard of here, or by me, or by some other.
More particulars must justify my knowledge.
So they must, or do your honor injury.
The chimney is south the chamber, and the chimney piece chased Diane bathing. Never saw I figures so likely to report themselves. The cutter was as another nature dumb, outwent her motion and breath left out.
This is a thing which you might from relation likewise reap, being as it is much spoke of.
The roof of the chamber with golden cherubims is fretted. Her andirons, oh, I'd forgotten them, were two winking cupids of silver, each on 1 foot standing nicely depending on their brands.
This is her honor. Let me be granted. You have seen all this, and praise be given to your remembrance. The description of what is her bedchamber. Nothing saves the wager you have laid.
Then if you can, be pale. I beg you leave to air this jewel. See, and now 'tis up again. It must be married to that your diamond. I'll keep them.
Jove, once more let me behold it. Is it that which I left with her?
Sir, I thank her that she stripped it from her arm. I see her yet. Her pretty action did outsell her gift, and yet enriched it too. She gave it me, and said she prized it once.
Maybe she plucked it off to send to me.
She writes so to you, doth she?
Oh, no, 'tis true. Here, take this too. It is a basilisk unto mine eye. Kills me to look on it. Let there be no honor where there is beauty, truth where semblance, love where there's another man. The vows of woman of no more bondage be to where they are made than they are at their virtues, which is nothing. Oh, above measure false.
Have patience, sir, and take your ring again. 'Tis not yet won. It may be probable she lost it, or who knows if one of her women, being corrupted, hath stolen it from her.
Very true.
Yeah.
And so I hope he came by it. Back my ring. Render me some corporeal sign about her, more evident than this, for this was stolen.
By Jupiter, I had it from her arm.
Hark you, he swears. By Jupiter, he swears. Oh, 'tis true. Nay, keep the ring. 'Tis true, I am sure she is not to lose it. By her attendants are all sworn and honorable. By induced to steal it, and by a stranger? No, he hath enjoyed her. The consonance of her inconsistency. This. She hath bought the name of whore thus dearly. Here, take thy hair, and all thy friends of hell divide themselves between you.
Sir, be patient. This is not strong enough to be believed of one persuaded well of.
Never talk on't. She hath been colted by him.
If you seek for further satisfying, under her breast, worthy her pressing, lies a mole, right proud of that most delicate lodging. By my life, I kissed it, and it gave me present hunger to feed again, though full. You do remember this stain upon her?
Aye, and it doth confirm another stain as big as hell can hold, were there no more but it.
Will you hear more?
Spare your arithmetic. Never counts the turns, once and a million.
I'll be sworn.
No swearing. And you will swear you have not done't. You lie, and I'll kill thee. If thou dost deny, thou make me cuckold.
I deny nothing.
Oh, that I had her here to tear her limb meal. I will go there and do it in the court before her father. I'll do something.
Exit.
Quite besides. The government of patience. You have won. Let's follow him and pervert the present wrath he hath against himself.
With all my heart.
Exeunt. Enter Posthumus.
Oh, is there no way for men to be, but women must be half workers? We are all bastards. And that most venerable man, which I did call my father, was I know not where, when I was stamped. Oh, some coiner with this tools made me counterfeit. My mother seemed the Diam of the time, so doth my wife the non-prevail of this. Oh, vengeance! Vengeance! Me, my lawful pleasure, she restrained and prayed me oft forbearance, did it with this pudence of rosary. So sweet Viewant might well have warmed old Saturn, that I thought her as chaste as an unsunned snow. Oh, all the devils, this yellow Akimo in an hour was not, or less at first. Perchance he spoke not, but like a full acorn bull, jarman on, chide on, and mounted, found no opposition, but what he looked for should oppose, and she should from encounter guard. Could I find out the woman part in me? There's no motion that tends to vice in man. I affirm it is a woman's part, be it lying, noted, the woman's, flattering, hers, deceiving, hers, lust and rank thoughts, hers, vengeance, hers, ambition, coveting, the change of pride, disdain, night longing, slanders, mutability, all faults that name, nay, that hell knows why hers in part, or all, or rather all, for being to vice, they are not constant, but are changing still. One vice, but a minute old, for one, not so half as old as that. I'll write them again, detest them, curse them, yet it is greater skill in a true hate to pray than they have will. The very devils cannot plague them better.
Exit. Actus tertius scena prima. Enter in state Cymbeline, Queen, Cloten, and lords at one door, and at another, Caius Lucius and attendants.
Now say, what would Augustus Caesar with us?
When Julius Caesar, whose remembrance yet lives in men's eyes and will to ears and tongues be theme and hearing ever, was in this Britain and conquered it, Cymbeline, think, uncalled famous in Caesar's praises, no whit less than in his feats deserving it. For him and his succession granted Rome a tribute, yearly 3,000 pounds, which by thee lately is left untendered.
And to kill the marvel shall be so ever.
Hey, there be many Caesars, ere such another Julius. Britain's a world by itself, and we will nothing pay for wearing our own noses.
That opportunity, which then they had to take from to resume, we have again. Remember, sir, my liege, the kings, your ancestors, together with the natural bravery of your isle, which stands as Neptune's park, ribbed and paled in with oaks unscalable, and roaring waters with sands that will not bear your enemies' boats, but suck them up to the topmast. A kind of conquest Caesar made here, but made not here. His brag of came and saw and overcame with shame the first that ever touched him. He was carried from off our coast, twice beaten, and is shipping, poor ignorant baubles, on our terrible seas like eggshells, moved up their surges, cracked as easily against our rocks. For joy whereof the famed Cymbeline, who was once at point, oh, giggles fortune, to Master Caesar's sword, made Ludstown with rejoicing fires bright, and Britain strut with courage.
There's no more tribute to be paid. Our kingdom is stronger than it was at that time. And as I said, there is no more such Caesars. Other of them may have crooked noses, but to owe such straight arms, none.
Son, let your mother end.
We have yet many among us can gripe as hard as Cymbeline. I do not say I am one, but I have a hand. Why tribute? Why should we pay tribute? If Caesar can hide the sun from us with a blanket, or put the moon in his pocket, we will pay him tribute for light. Else, sir, no more tribute, pray you now.
You must know, till the injurious Romans did extort this tribute from us, we were free. Caesar's ambition, which swelled so much that it did almost stretch the sides of the world against all color here, did put the yoke upon us, which to shake off becomes a warlike people, whom we reckon ourselves to be. We do. Say then to Caesar, our ancestor was that multuous which ordained our laws, whose use the sword of Caesar hath too much mangled, whose repair and franchise shall, by the power we hold, be our good deed. Though Rome be therefore angry, Multuous made our laws, who was the first of Britain which did put his brows within a golden crown, and called himself a king.
I'm sorry, Cymbeline, that I am to pronounce Augustus Caesar. Caesar, that hath more kings, his servants, than they themselves domestic officers. Thine enemy, receive it from me then. War and confusion in Caesar's name pronounce I against thee. Look, nor fury, not to be resisted. Thus defied, I thank thee for myself.
Thou art welcome, Caius. Thy Caesar knighted me. My youth I spent much under him. Of him I gathered honor, which he to seek of me again perforce behooves me keep at utterance. I am perfect, that the Pannonians and Dalmatians for their liberty are now in arms, a precedent which not to read would show the Britons cold, though Caesar shall not find them.
Let proof speak.
His Majesty bids you welcome. Make pastime of us a day or two or longer. If you seek us afterwards in other terms, you shall find us in your saltwater girdle. If you beat us out of it, it is yours. If you fall in the adventure, our crows shall fare the better for you. And there's an end.
So, sir.
I know your master's pleasure, and he mine. All the remain is welcome.
Exeunt, Scena Secunda. Enter Pisanio, reading of a letter.
How? Of adultery? Wherefore write you not monsters who accuse? Leonidas. Oh, master, what a strange infection has fallen into thy ear. What false Italian, as poisonous tongue as handled, hath prevailed on thy too ready hearing? Disloyal? No. She's punished for her truth, and undergoes more goddess-like than wife-like, such assaults as would take in some virtue. Oh, my master, thy mind is to her is now as low as were thy fortunes. How? That I should murder her? Upon the love and truth and vows which I have made to thy command? I, her blood? If it be so, to do good service, never let me be counted serviceable. How would I that I should seem to lack humanity, so much as this fact comes to? Do it, the letter. That I have sent her by her own command shall give the opportunity. Oh, damn paper, black as the ink that's on thee. Senseless bauble. Art thou a footery for this act? And looks so virgin-like without? Lo, here she comes.
Enter Imogen.
I am ignorant what I am commanded.
How now, Pisanio?
Madam, here's a letter from my lord.
Who, thy lord? That is my lord Leonidas? Oh, learned indeed were that astronomer that knew the stars as I his character's healed lay the future upon. You good gods, lay what is here contained relish of love, of my lord's health, of his content, yet not that we two are asunder. Let that grieve him. Some griefs are medicinable. That is one of them, for it doth physic love of his content, all but in that. Good wax, thy leave blessed be, you bees that make these locks of counsel. Lovers and men in dangerous bonds pray not alike, though forfeiters you cast in prison, yet you clasp young Cupid's tables. Good news, gods. Justice and your father's wrath, should he take me in his dominion, could not be so cruel to me as you. Oh, the dearest of creatures, would even renew me with your eyes. Take notice that I am in Cambria at Milford Haven. What your own love will out of this advise you follow. So he wishes you all happiness that remains loyal to his vow, and your increasing in love. Leonatus Posthumus. Oh, for a horse with wings. Hearest thou, Pisanio? He is at Milford Haven. Read and tell me. How far 'tis thither? If one of mean affairs, how plotted in a week, why may not I glide thither in a day? Then true Pisanio, who longst like me to see my lord, who longst, oh, let me bait, but not like me, yet longst but in a fainter kind. Oh, not like me, for mine's beyond, say, and speak thick. Love's counselor should fill the bores of hearing to the smothering of the sense, how far it is to this same blessed Milford. And by the way, tell me how Wales was made so happy as to inherit such a haven. But first of all, how we may steal from hence, and for the gap that we shall make in time from our hence going and our return to excuse. But first, how get hence? Why should excuse be born or e'er bear got? Oh, we'll talk of that hereafter. Prithee speak. How many stores of miles may we well rid twixt hour and hour?
1 score twixt sun and sun, madam's enough for you. Too much, too.
Why, one that rode to execution, man, could never go so slow. I have heard of riding wagers where horses have been nimbler than the sands that run in the clock's behalf. But this is foolery. Go, bid my woman feign a sickness, say she'll home to her father and provide me presently a riding suit, no costlier than would fit a Franklin's housewife.
No, you best consider.
I see before me, man, nor here, not here, nor what ensues, but have a fog in them that I cannot look enough. Away, I prithee, do as I bid thee. There's no more to say. Accessible is none but Milford way.
Exeunt. Scene in Tertia. Enter Belarius, Guiderius, and Arviragus. Goodly day, not to keep house with such whose roof's as low as ours. Sleep, boys, this gate instructs you how to adore the heavens and bows you to a morning's holy office. The gates of monarchs are arched so high that giants may jet through and keep their impious turbans on without good morrow to the sun. Hail thou, fair heaven, we house in the rock, yet use thee not so hardly as prouder livers do.
Hail heaven.
Hail heaven.
Now, for our mountain sport, up to yond hill. Your legs are young, I'll tread these flats. Consider, when you above perceive me like a crow, that it is place which lessens and sets off, and you may revolve what tales I have told you, of courts, of princes, of the tricks in war. This service is not service so being done, but being so allowed. To apprehend thus draws us to a profit from all things we see, and often our comfort shall we find the sharded beetle in a safer hold than is the full-winged eagle. Oh, this life is nobler than attending for a check, richer than doing nothing for a babe, prouder than rustling in unpaid for silk. Such gain the cap of him that makes him fine, yet keeps his book uncrossed. No life to ours.
Out of your proof you speak. We, poor unfledged, have never winged from view of the nest, nor knows not what errs from home. Haply this life is best, if quiet life be best, sweeter to you that have a sharper known, well corresponding with your stiff age, but unto us it is a cell of ignorance, travailing a bed, a prison, or a debtor that dares not to stride a limit.
What should we speak of when we are old as you? When we shall hear the rain and wind beat dark December? How is this our pinching cave? Scorch the freezing hours away? We have seen nothing. We are beastly, subtle as the fox for prey, like warlike as the wolf. For what we eat, our valor is to chase what flies. Our cage we make a choir, as doth the prisoned bird, and sing our bondage freely.
How you speak! Did you but know the city's usuries, and felt them knowingly, the art of the court as hard to leave as keep, whose top to climb is certain falling, or so slippery that the fear's as bad as falling. Ah, the toil of the war, a pain that only seems to seek out danger in the name of fame and honor, which dies in the search as oft hath as oft a slanderous epitaph as record of fair act. Nay, many times doth ill deserve by doing well. What's worse, must curtsy at the censure. Oh, boys, this story the world may read in me, my body marked with Roman swords, and my report was once first with the best of note. Cymbeline loved me, and when a soldier was the theme, my name was not far off. Then was I as a tree, whose boughs did bend with fruit, but in one night, a storm or robbery, call it what you will, shook down my mellow hangings, nay, my leaves, and left me bare to weather.
Uncertain favor.
My fault being nothing, as I have told you oft, but that two villains, whose false oaths prevailed before my perfect honor, swore to Cymbeline I was confederate with the Romans. So followed my banishment, and this 20 years, this rock and these domains have been my world, where I have lived at honest freedom, paid more pious debts to heaven than in all the forend of my time. But up to the mountains, this is not hunter's language. He that strikes the venison first shall be the lord of the feast. To him the other two shall minister, and we will fear no poison which attends in place of greater state. I'll meet you in the valleys. Exeunt. How hard is it to hide the sparks of nature? These boys know little they are sons to the king, nor Cymbeline dreams that they are alive. They think they are mine, and though trained up thus meanly in the cave, whereof the bough their thoughts do hit, the roofs of palaces, and nature prompts them in simple and low things to prince it much beyond the trick of others. This Pallador, the heir of Cymbeline and Britain, who the king his father called Guiderius, Jove, when on my 3-foot stool I sit and tell the warlike feats I have done, his spirits fly out into my story. Say, thus mine enemy fell, and thus I set my foot on's neck. Even then the princely blood flows in his cheek. He sweats, strains his young nerves, and puts himself in posture that acts my words. The younger brother, Cadwell, once Arviragus, in as a figure, strikes life into my speech and shows much more of his own conceiving. Ah, hark, the game is roused. Oh, Cymbeline, heaven and my conscience knows thou didst unjustly banish me, whereon at 3 and 2 years old I stole these babes, thinking to bar thee of succession, as thou reft'st me of my lands. Europhile, thou wast their nurse, they took thee for their mother, and every day do honor her grave. Myself Belarius, that am Morgan called, they'd take for a natural father. Ah, the game is up. Exit. Scena quarta, enter Pisanio and Imogen.
Thou toldst me when we come from horse, ye place was near at hand. Ne'er longed my mother so to see me first as I have now. Bassanio, man, where is Posthumus? What is in thy mind that makes thee stare thus? Wherefore breaks that sigh from inward of thee? One but painted thus would be interpreted a thing perplexed beyond self-explanation. Put thyself into a behavior of less fear, ere wilderness vanquish my strider senses. What's the matter? Why tenderest thou that paper to me with a look untender? If it be summer news, smile to before. If winterly, thou needst but keep the countenance still. My husband's hand, that drug-damned Italy hath outcraftied him, and he's at some hard point. Speak, man. Thy tongue may take off some extremity which to read would be even mortal to me.
Please you read, and you shall find me, wretched man, a thing the most disdained of fortune.
Thy mistress, Bassanio, hath played the strumpet in my bed. The testimonies whereof lies bleeding in me, I speak not out of weak surmises, but from proof as strong as my grief and as certain as I expect my revenge. That part thou, Bassanio, must act for me. If thy faith hath not tainted with the breach of hers, let thine own hands take away her life. I shall give the opportunity at Milford Haven. She hath my letter for the purpose, where if thou fear to strike, and to make me certain it is done, thou art the pander to her dishonor, and equally to me disloyal.
What shall I need to draw my sword? The paper hath cut her throat already. No, 'tis slander. His edge is sharper than the sword. His tongue outvenoms all the worms of Nile. His breath rides on the posting winds, and doth belie all corners of the world. Kings, queens, and states, maids, matrons, nay, the secrets of the grave this viper slander enters. What cheer, madam?
False to his bed? What is it to be false? To lie and watch there and to think on him? To weep, twixt clock and clock, if sleep charge nature, to break it with a fearful dream of him and cry myself awake. That's false to his bed, is it?
Alaska, lady.
I false. Thy conscious witness, Iachimo, thou didst accuse him of inconsistency. Thou then look'st like a villain, now methinks thy favor's good enough. Some jay of Italy whose mother was her painting hath betrayed him. Poor I am stale, a garment out of fashion, and for I am richer than to hang by the walls, I must be ripped to pieces with me. Oh, men's vows are women's traitors, all good seeming by thy revolt. Oh, husband, shall be thought put on for villainy, not born where to grows, but worn a bait for ladies.
But madam, hear me.
True, honest men being heard like false Aeneas, were in this time thought false, and Sinon's weeping did scandal many a holy tear, took pity from most true wretchedness. So, thou, Posthumus, will lay the leaven on all proper men, goodly and gallant shall be false and perjured from thy great fail. Come, fellow, be thou honest. Do thou thy master's bidding. When thou seest him, a little witness my obedience. Look, I draw the sword myself. Take it and hit the innocent mansion of my love, my heart. Fear not. 'Tis empty of all things but grief. Thy master is not there, who was indeed the riches of it. Do his bidding. Strike, thou mayst be valiant in a better cause, but now thou seem'st a coward.
Hence, foul instrument, thou shalt not damn my hand.
Why? I must die, and if I do not by thy hand, thou art no servant of thy master's. Against self-slaughter there is a prohibition so divine that cravens my weak hand. Come! Here is my heart. Something's afoot. Soft, soft will no defense, obedient as the scabbard. What is here? Scriptures of the loyal Leonatus all turn to heresy. Away, away, corrupters of my faith. You shall no more be stomachers to my heart. Thus may poor fools believe false teachers. Though those that are betrayed do feel the treason sharply, yet the traitor stands in worse case of woe, and thou, Posthumus, thou didst set up my disobedience gainst the king, my father. It makes me put into contempt the suits of princely fellows. Shalt hereafter find it is no act of common passage, but a strain of rareness. And I grieve myself to think when thou shalt be disedged by her that now thou tirest on, how thy memory will then be panged by me. Prithee dispatch. The lamb entreats the butcher. Where's thy knife? Thou art too slow to do thy master's bidding, when I desire it too.
Oh, gracious lady, since I received command to do this business, I have not slept one wink.
Do it, and to bed then.
Wake mine eyeballs first.
Wherefore then didst undertake it? Why hast thou abused so many miles with a pretense? This place, mine action, and thine own? Our horses' labor, the timing inviting me, the perturbed court for my being absent, whereunto I never purposed return. Why hast thou gone so far to be unbent? When thou hast ta'en, they stand, the elected deer, before thee.
But to win time to loose of that employment, in the which I consider of a course, good lady, hear me with patience.
Take thy tongue weary, speak. I have heard I am a strumpet, and mine ear therein false strook can take no greater wound, nor tent to bottom thee. But speak.
Then, madam, I thought you would not back again.
Most like bringing me here to kill me.
Not so neither. But if I were as wise, as honest, then my purpose would prove well. It cannot be but that my master is abused. Some villain, aye, and singular in his art, hath done you both this cursed injury.
Some Roman courtesan?
No, on my life. I'll give but notice you are dead and send him some bloody sign of it. For 'tis commanded I should do so. You shall be missed at court, and that will well confirm it.
Why, good fellow, what shall I do the while? Where bide? How live? Or in my life, what comfort when I am dead to my husband?
If you'll back to the court?
No court, no father, nor no more ado with that harsh, noble, simple nothing, that Cloten, whose love suit hath been to me as fearful as a siege.
If not at court, then not in Britain must you bide.
Where then? Hath Britain all the sun that shines day, night? Are they not but in Britain? In the world's volume, our Britain seems as of it, but not in it. In a great pool, a swan's nest, prithee think, there's livers out of Britain.
I am most glad you think of other place. The ambassador, Lucius the Roman, comes to Milford Haven tomorrow. Now, if you can wear a mind dark, as your fortune is, and but disguise that which it appears itself, must not yet be but by self-danger, you should tread a course pretty and full of view, yea, happily, near the residence of Posthumus, so nigh at least that though his actions were not visible, yet report should render him hourly to your ear as truly as he moves.
Oh, for such means, though peril to my modesty, not death on it, I would adventure.
Well, then here's the point. You must forget to be a woman. Change command into obedience. Fear and niceness, the handmaids of all women, or more truly woman at pretty self, into a waggish courage. Ready in jibes, quick answered, saucy and as querulous as the weasel. Nay, you must forget that rarest treasure of your cheek, exposing it, but oh, the harder heart, alack, no remedy, to the greedy touch of common kissing Titan. And forget your laborsome and dainty trends wherein you make great Juno angry.
Nay, be brief. I see into thy end, and am almost a man already.
Well, first make yourself but like one for thinking this. I have already fit. 'Tis in my cloak bag with doublet, hat, hose, all that answer to them. Would you in their serving, and with what invitation you can borrow from youth of such a season, for noble Lucius present yourself, desire his service. Tell him wherein you're happy, which will make him know, if that his head hath ear in music, doubtless with joy he will embrace you, for he's honorable, and doubling that most holy. Your means abroad, you have me rich, and I will never fail beginning or supplyment.
Thou art all the comfort the gods will diet with me. Prithee, away! There's more to be considered, but will even all that good time will give us. This attempt, I am soldier too, and will abide it with a prince's courage. Away, I prithee.
Well, then we must take a short farewell, at least being this, I be suspected of your carriage from the court. My noble mistress, here's a box. I had it from the queen. What's in it is precious. If you are sick at sea or a stomach qualm with at land, a dram of this will drive away distemper, to some shade, and fit you to your manhood. May the gods direct you to the best.
Amen. I thank thee.
Excellent. And here we will take a 5-minute break so that we
Oh.
will resume just around 3.
Okay.
So yeah, this is going great. Thank you, Will. And here we have the earliest known theatrical use of hydrochloroquine. Special dram from the Queen.
Could you explain yourself?
No, it's a joke.
It's a good
so-
joke too. I loved it.
It's saying, I mean, well, of course, we have the Queen who has this medicine, which is really, she's said is going to save somebody when it's actually a poison, and just sort of making a joke about what our president, I mean, the drug that he had sort of recommended. So.
By the way, that's not one of the drugs he's taking, is it?
No, it's not.
No, look at that. There you
No,
go.
I mean, it's
No,
just
he's injecting himself with bleach.
No, he's taking some new drug that's an experimental drug. It begins with an R. What is it? I've heard, and I heard the whole thing today.
Resveratrol?
Yeah, whatever.
something like that. Some
he's
sort of
taking
complicated
two
thing,
things.
which they're sort of saying, well, he really shouldn't be taking it because we don't know if it's any good or not, really.
I think you should eat all the meatloaf he wants.
No, I pray for his health. I really hope he gets better real soon, I mean,
You do?
I mean, it's unfortunate, but hopefully maybe this can be a learning experience. I mean, I think even for Boris Johnson and he ended up like in intensive care and things, that he then has been more, well, I don't even really know what's going on in England in terms of how well things seem to be going in terms of there, but it's sort of like.
Not well.
Yeah, not as bad as us, but I guess.
No, but Boris Johnson is hopeless. I mean, he's a disaster area. He's actually gone down since.
Bolsonaro have it also? Did Bolsonaro get it?
Yeah, Bolsonaro got it as well.
And he had a recovery too. How about that?
And Christie of New Jersey's got it.
Oh, Christie's got it good too. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Did Putin have
They're
it?
dropping like flies.
Well, Lindsey Graham has been exposed to it. So if he the Supreme Court nominee had gotten it before, but it's possible she could get it again. If either one of them comes down with it, that would definitely interfere with the. If he follows the rules, he's going to have to delay the hearings for at least 4 days.
Well, Paul,
And
what would be
did
so
you-
bad if
did
he
you
got it
see-
and Nancy Pelosi took over as president and both of them got sick?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but
And
Pence
did you
is
see
healthy.
that
That
50
is the thing that I find almost more sort of scary is that the way I first saw the headline, it's like Trump and wife positive for coronavirus, Pence negative. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Because the
And
one
did you
thing that
see
scares
that
me more than
50
the Donald Trump presidency is a Michael Pence presidency.
What about a Nancy Pelosi presidency? Because Mike Pence can't do it either.
Well, yeah, but why do we even get into this?
Acting
It's very
president.
unlikely that anything will happen. I mean, he's getting the best medical care, so hopefully he will have a speedy recovery. and maybe he may learn something, and may, if he just would encourage mask wearing, it could save so many lives.
Right.
But the latest word,
I'm hoping that
I don't know. I personally would love to see Nancy Pelosi be president until we have a legitimate one, since she's the only legitimate one up there.
Well, I mean,
his doctor's report has been counteracted and by spokespeople from the White House. They say there is no clear road for recovery yet. And
you
it's
know
getting,
that usual it's quite common for people to not have it too badly for the first week, but sometime in the second week,
Yeah.
it gets much worse.
yeah. I mean, and that's
So he may be knocked out from the presidency, but you know what? He might get his dearest wish to be president for life.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Whoa.
That's really. I mean, that is.
I mean, he's not gonna. There's no chance of him winning under the sympathy vote like John Wayne did for True
Oh, I
Britain.
think there definitely is. I think I think that you know.
Is that why they gave John Wayne the Academy Award for True Britain?
An October surprise, and okay, it's like we have this October surprise already. You just know this year there's got to be like another 1 or 3 or 5, you know, before the election, and then what happens then? I mean, yeah. Well,
And apparently the head people in Rhodes College have been adopting the nominee, that woman, as an alum of Rhodes, and 1,500 Rhodes alumni have signed a petition saying that they've got to stop doing this because she does not stand for any of the things that they were taught when they were studying at Rhodes.
Are you talking about Amy Coney Barrett, the justice? Oh, okay.
Because of her anti-abortion and anti-LGBT and all the rest of it. These are not the values that the alumni were taught at Rhodes.
yeah, well, and also, I mean, that did a Rhodes Scholar also that who the Rhodes Scholars were named for, wasn't that also the guy who Rhodesia was named for? And like,
Oh yes, that's
Yes,
right.
the Rhodes
racist
Scholarship.
in a lot of ways. But anyways, let's get back to our play.
Yes,
there
yes.
The
anything
Rhodes
that you want to
Scholarship
say
was
before we resume.
Paul.
Yeah, we're going on with the show. Come on.
Show must go on.
Yes.
All right, anything? Okay, so let us resume. Scena Quinta, enter Cymbeline, Queen, Cloten, Lucius, and Lords.
Thus far, and so farewell.
Thanks, royal sir. My emperor hath wrote, I must from hence, and I'm right sorry that I must report ye my master's enemy.
Our subjects, sir, will not endure his yoke, and for ourselves to show less sovereignty than they, must needs appear unkinglike.
So, sir, I desire of you a conduct over land to Wilfred Haven. Madam, all joy before your grace and you.
My lords, you are appointed for that office, the due of honor, in no point omit. So farewell, noble Lucius.
Your hand, my lord.
Receive it friendly, but from this time forth I wear it as your enemy.
Sir, the event is yet to name the winner. Fare you well.
Leave not the worthy Lucius, good my lords, till he have crossed the Severn. Happiness.
Exit Lucius and company.
He goes hence frowning, but it honors us that we have given him cause.
'Tis all the better. Your valiant Britons have their wishes in it.
Lucius hath wrote already to the emperor how it goes here. It fits us therefore ripely our chariots and our horsemen be in readiness. The powers that he hath in Gallia will soon be drawn to head, from whence he moves his war for Britain.
'Tis not sleepy business, but must be looked to speedily and strongly.
Our expectation that it would be thus hath made us forward. But, my gentle queen, where is our daughter? She hath not appeared before the Roman, nor to us hath tendered the duty of the day. She look us like a thing more made of malice than of duty. We have noted it. Call her before us, for we have been too slight in sufferance.
Royal sir, since the exile of Posthumus, most retired has her life been. The cure whereof my lord 'tis time must do. Beseech your majesty, forbear sharp speeches to her. She's a lady, so tender of rebukes that words are stroke and strokes death to her.
Enter a messenger.
Where is she, sir? How can her contempt be answered?
Please you, sir. Her chambers are all locked, and there's no answer that will be given to the loud of noise we make.
My lord, when last I went to visit her, she prayed me to excuse her keeping close, whereto constrained by her infirmity, she should that duty leave unpaid to you, which daily she was bound to proffer. This she wished me to make known, that our great court made me to blame in memory.
The doors locked? Not seen of late? Grant heavens that which I fear prove false.
Son, I say, follow the king.
That man of hers, Bassanio, her old servant, I have not seen these 2 days.
Go look after. Bassanio, thou standest so for Posthumus. Yes, a drug of mine. I pray his absence persuade by swallowing that, for he believes it is a thing most precious. But for her, where's she gone? Haply despair has seized her, or winged with fervor of her love, she's flown to her desired Posthumus. Gone she is, to death or to dishonor, and my end can make good use of either. She being down, I have the placing of the British crown.
Enter Cloten.
How now, my son?
Enter Cloten.
How now, my son? Cloten. Cloten. How now?
'Tis certain she is fled. Go in and cheer the king. He rages, none dare come about him.
All the better. May this night forestall him of the coming day.
I love and hate her, for she's fair and royal, and that she hath all courtly parts more exquisite than ladies, woman, from every one the best she hath, and she of all compounded outsells them all. I love her therefore, but disdaining me and throwing favors on the low Posthumus, slanders so her judgment that what's elsewhere is choked, and in that point will conclude to hate her, nay indeed, to be revenged upon her. For when fools fall,
Enter
who's here?
Bassanio.
Who is here? What are you packing, sir? Come hither. Ah, you precious pander villain, where is thy lady? In a word, or else thou art straightway with the fiends.
Oh, good my lord.
Where is thy lady? Or by Jupiter, I will not ask again. Close villain, I'll have this secret from thy heart, or rip thy heart to find it. Is she of Posthumus, from whose so many weights of baseness cannot a dram of worth be drawn?
Alas, my lord, how can she be with him? When was she missed? He was in Rome.
Where is she, sir? Come here. No farther halting. Satisfy me home. What is become of her?
Oh, my all-worthy lord.
All-worthy villain, discover where thy mistress is at once. At the next word, no more, worthy lord. Speak, or thy silence on the instant is thy condemnation and thy death.
Then, sir, this paper is the history of my knowledge touching her flight.
Let's see it. I will pursue her even to Augustus' throne.
Or this, or perish. She's far enough, and what he learns by this may prove his travail, not her danger. I'll write to my lord she's dead. Oh, Imogen, safe mayst thou wander, safe return again.
Sirrah, is this letter true?
Sir, as I think.
It is Posthumus' hand, I note. Sirrah, if thou wouldst not be a villain, but do me true service, undergo those employments wherein I should have cause to use thee with a serious industry. That is, what villainy swear I bid thee do to perform it, directly and truly. I would think thee an honest man. Thou shouldst neither want my means for my relief, nor my voice for my preferment.
Well, my good lord.
Wilt thou serve me? For since patiently and counselly thou hast stuck to the bare fortune of that beggar Posthumus, thou canst not in the course of gratitude, but be a diligent follower of mine. Wilt thou serve me?
Sir, I will.
Give me thy hand. Here's my purse. Hast any of thy late master's garments in thy possession?
I have, my lord, at my lodging, the same suit he wore when he took leave of my lady and mistress.
The first service thou dost me, fetch that sweet hither. Let it be thy first service. Go.
I shall, my lord.
Exit.
Meet thee at Milford Haven. I forgot to ask him one thing, I'll remember anon. Even there, thou villain Posthumus, will I kill thee. I would these garments were come. She said upon a time, the bitterness of it, I now belch from my heart, that she held the very garment of Posthumus in more respect than my noble and natural person, together with the adornment of my qualities. With that sweet upon my back will I ravish her. First kill him, and in her eyes there shall she see my valor, which will then be a torment to her contempt. He on the ground, my speech of insolence ended on his dead body. And when my lust hath dined, which I say to vex her, I will execute in the clothes that she so praised. To the court I'll knock her back, put her home again. She hath despised me rejoicing, and I'll be merry in my revenge. Be those the garments?
Aye, my noble lord.
How long is since she went to Milford Haven?
She can scarce be there yet.
Bring this apparel to my chamber. That is the second thing that I have commanded thee. The third is that thou wilt be a volunteer mute to my design. Be but duteous, and true preferment shall tender itself to thee. My revenge is now at Milford. Would I had wings to follow it. Come and be true.
Exit.
Thou bidst me to my loss, for true to thee were to prove false, which I will never be to him that is most true. To Milford go, and find not her whom thou pursuest. Flow, flow you heavenly blessings in her. His full speed be crossed with slowness. Labor be his meed.
Exit. Scene is sexta. Enter Imogen alone.
I see a man's life is a tedious one. I have tired myself, and for 2 nights together have made the ground my bed. I should feel sick, but that my resolution helps me. Milford, when from the mountaintop Bassanio showed thee thou wast within a ken. Oh, Jove, I think foundations fly the wretched. Such I mean when they should be relieved. 2 beggars told me I could not miss my way. Will poor folks lie that have afflictions on them, knowing 'tis a punishment or trial? Yes. No wonder when rich ones scarce tell true. To lapse in fullness is sorer than to lie for need, and falsehood is worse in kings than beggars. My dear lord, thou art one of the false ones. Now that I think on thee, my hunger is gone, but even before I were at point to sink for food. What is this? 'Tis some savage hold. I were best not to call, I dare not call, yet famine, ere clean and o'erthrow nature, makes valiant. Plenty and peace breeds cowards. Hardness ever of hardiness is mother. Ho! Who's here? If anything that's civil, speak. If savage, take or lend. Ho! No answer. Best draw my sword, and if mine enemy but fear the sword like I do, he'll scarcely look on it. Such a foe! Good heavens!
Exit. Scene is septima. Enter Belarius, Guiderius, and Arviragus. You, Polydor, have proved the best woodman and are master of the feast. Cadwell and I will play the cook and servant. 'Tis our match. The sweat of industry would dry and die, but for the end it works. Come, our stomachs will make what's a homely savory. Weariness can snore upon the flint, then resty sloth finds the down pillow hard. Now peace be here, poor house, that keeps thyself.
I am thoroughly weary.
I am weak with toil, yet strong in appetite.
There is cold meat in the cave. We'll browse on that whilst what we have killed be cooked.
Stay, come not in. But that it eats our victuals, I should think here were a fairy.
What's the matter, sir?
Jupiter, an angel, if not an earthly paragon. Behold, divineness no elder than a boy. Enter Imogen.
Good masters, harm me not. Before I entered here, I called and thought to have begged or bought what I have took. Good troth, I have stolen not, nor would not, though I had found gold strewed in the floor. Here's money for my meat. I would have left it on the board so soon as I had made my meal and parted with prayers for the provider.
Money? Youth!
All gold and silver rather turn to dirt, as 'tis no better reckoned but of those who worship dirty gods.
I see you're angry. No, if you kill me for my fault, I should have died had I not made it.
Whither bound?
To Milford Haven?
What's your name?
Fidele, sir. I have a kinsman who is bound for Italy. He embarked at Milford, to whom being gone almost spent with hunger. I am fallen in this offence.
Oh, prithee, fair youth, think us no churls, nor measure our good minds by this rude place we live in. Well encountered. 'Tis almost night. You shall have better cheer ere you depart, and thanks to stay and eat it. Boys, bid him welcome.
Were you a woman, youth, I should woo hard. But be your groom in honesty. I'd bid for you as I do buy.
I'll make my comfort. He's a man. I'll love him as my brother, and such a welcome as I'll give to him after long absence, such is yours. Most welcome. Be sprightly, for you fall amongst friends.
Amongst friends? If brothers would had been so, that they had been my father's sons, then had my prize been lessened so more equal ballasting to thee, Posthumus.
He rings at some distress.
Would I could free it.
Or I, whate'er it be, asked, what danger, gods?
Hark, boys.
Great men that had a court no bigger than this cave that did attend themselves and had the virtue which their own conscience sealed them, laying by that nothing guilt of differing multitudes could not outpeer these twain. Pardon me, gods. I'll change my sex to be companion with them, since Leonatus false.
It shall be so. Boys, we'll go dress our hunt. Fair youth, come in. Discourse is heavy fasting. When we have supped, we'll mannerly demand thee of thy story, so far as thou wilt speak it.
Pray draw near.
The night to the owl and morn to the lark less welcome.
Thanks, sir.
I pray thee, draw near.
Exeunt. Sina Octava, enter 2 Roman senators and tribunes.
This is the tenor of the emperor's writ, that since the common men are now in action against the Pannonians and Dalmatians, and that the legions now in Gallia are full weak to undertake our wars against the fallen off Britons, that we do incite the gentry to this business. He creates Lucius proconsul, and to you, the tribunes, for this immediate levy, he commands his absolute commission. Long live Caesar.
Is Lucius general of the forces?
Aye.
Remaining now in Gallia?
Within those legions which I have spoke of, whereunto your levy must be suppliant. The words of your commission will tie you to the numbers and the time of their dispatch.
We will discharge our duty.
Exeunt. Actus Quartus Sina Prima, enter Cloten alone.
I am near to the place where they should meet. If Bassanio have mapped it truly, how fit his garments serve me? Why should his mistress, who was made by him that made the tailor, not be fit too? But rather, saving the reverence of the word, for 'tis sake a woman's fitness comes by fits, therein I must play the workman. I dare speak it to myself, for it is not vainglory for a man in his glass to confer it in his own chamber. I mean, the lines of my body are as well drawn as his, no less young, more strong, not beneath him in fortunes, beyond him in the advantage of the time, above him in birth, alike conversant in general services, and more remarkable in single oppositions. Yet this imperseverant thing loves him in my despite. What mortality is, Posthumus, thy head, which now is growing upon thy shoulders, shall within this hour be off, thy mistress enforced, thy garments cut to pieces before thy face, and all this done, spurn her home to her father, who may haply be a little angry for my rough usage, but my mother having power of his testiness shall turn all into my commendations. My horse is tied up safe, outsword, and to a sore purpose. Fortune put them into my hand. This is the very description of their meeting place, so the fellow dares not deceive me.
Exit Sina Secunda, enter Belarius, Guidarius, Arviragus, and Imogen from the cave. You are not well. Remain here in the cave. We'll come to you after hunting. Arviragus.
Brothers, stay here. Are we not brothers?
So man and man should be, but clay and clay differs in dignity, whose dust is both alike. Ugh, I am very sick.
Go you to hunting, I'll abide with him.
So sick I am not, yet I am not well, but not so citizen a wanton to seem to die ere sick, so please you leave me, sick to your journal course. The breach of custom is breach of all. I am ill, but your being by me cannot amend me. Society is no comfort to one not sociable. I am not very sick, since I can reason of it. Pray you, trust me here. I'll rob none but myself, and let me die stealing so poorly.
I love thee. I have spoken. How much the quantity, the weight, as much as I do love my father.
What? How? How?
If it be sin to say so, sir, I yoked me in my good brother's fault. I know not why I left
He's
this.
here, Eleanor.
He is?
Angus,
All right.
if it be sin to say so. What? How?
If it
How?
be sin to say so, sir, I yoke me in my good brother's fault. I know not why I love this youth, and I have heard you say love's reason without reason. The bier at door and the demand whoist shall die. I'll say my father, not this youth.
Oh, noble strain. Oh, worthiness of nature, breed of greatness, cowards father cowards, and base things sire base. Nature hath meal and bran, contempt and grace. I'm not their father, yet who this should be, doth miracle itself loved before me. 'Tis the 9th hour of the morn.
Brother, farewell.
I wish ye sport.
Your health. So please you, sir.
These are kind creatures. Gods, what lies I have heard. Our courtiers say all savage, but at court experience, oh thou disproved report. The imperious seas breeds monsters for the dish, poor tributary rivers as sweet fish. I am sick still, heart sick, Pisanio. I'll now taste of thy drug.
I could not stir him. He said he was gentle but unfortunate, dishonestly afflicted, but yet honest.
Thus did he answer me. Yet said hereafter I might know more.
To the field, to the field. We'll leave you for this time. Go in and rest.
Will not be long away.
Pray be not sick, for you must be our housewife.
Well or ill, I am bound to you.
And shalt be ever. This youth, howe'er distressed appears, he hath had good ancestors.
How angel-like he sings.
But his neat cookery?
He cut our roots and characters and sourced our brothers, as Juno had been sick, and he her diter. Notably, he yokes, smiling with a sigh. That is for not being such a smile, the smile mocking the sigh, that it would fly from so divine a temple to commix with wings that sailors rail at.
I do note that grief and patience rooted in them both mingle their spurs together.
Grow patient, and let the stinking elder, grief, untwine his perishing root with the increasing vine.
It is great morning. Come away, who's here? Enter Cloten.
I cannot find those renegades. That villain hath mocked me. I am faint.
Those renegades. Means he not us? I partly know him. 'Tis Cloten, the son of the queen. I fear some ambush. I saw him not these many years, and yet I know 'tis he. We are held as outlaws. Hence!
Is but one. You and my brother search what companies are near. Are you away? Let me alone with him.
Soft, what are you that fly me thus? Some villain mountaineers? I've heard of such. What slave art thou?
A thing more slavish did I ne'er than answering a slave without a knock.
Thou art a robber, a lawbreaker, a villain. Yield thee, thief.
Oh, to thee? What art thou? Have not I an arm as big as thine, a heart as big? Thy words, I grant, are bigger, for I wear not my dagger in my mouth. Say what thou art. Why should I yield to thee?
Thou villain base, know'st me not by my clothes?
No, nor thy tailor rascal. Who is thy grandfather? He made those clothes which, as it seems, make thee.
Thou precious varlet, my tailor made them not.
Hence then, and thank the man that gave them thee. Thou art some fool. I'm loath to beat thee.
Thou injurious thief, hear but my name and tremble.
What's thy name?
Cloten, thou villain!
Cloten, thou double villain, be thy name. I cannot tremble at it, were it toad or adder, spider, would move me sooner.
To thy further fear, nay, to thy mere confusion, thou shalt know I am son to the queen.
I'm sorry for it, not seeming so worthy as thy birth.
Art thou afeard?
Those that I reverence, those I fear, the wise. At fools I laugh, not fear them.
Die the death when I have slain thee with my proper hand. I'll follow those that even now fled hence. On the gates of Ludstown set your heads. Yield, rustic mountaineer.
Fight and exeunt. Enter Belarius and Arviragus. No company abroad?
None in the world. You did mistake him, sure.
I cannot tell. Long is it since I saw him, but time hath not blurred those lines of favor which then he wore. The snatches in his voice and burst of speaking were as his. I am absolute. 'Twas very Cloten.
In this place we left him. I wish my brother make good time with him. You say he is so fell?
Being scarce made up, I mean to man, he had not apprehension of roaring terrors, for defective judgment is oft the cause of fear. Enter Guiderius, but see thy brother.
This Cloten was a fool, an empty purse. There was no money in it. Not Hercules could have knocked out his brains, for he had none. Yet I not doing this, the fool had bored my head as I do his.
What hast thou done?
I am perfect what? Cut off one Cloten's head, son to the queen, after his own report, who called me traitor, mountaineer, and swore with his own single hand he'll take us in, displace our heads where, thank the gods, they grow, and set them on Ludstown.
We are all undone.
Why, worthy father, what have we to lose but that he swore to take our lives? The law protects not us. Then why should we be tender to let an arrogant piece of flesh threaten us? Play judge and executioner all himself. For we do fear the law. What company discover you abroad?
No single soul can we set eye on, but in all safe reason he must have some attendance. Though his honor was nothing but mutation, aye, and that from one bad thing to worse. Not frenzy, not absolute madness could so far have raved to bring him here alone. Although, perhaps, it may be heard at court that such as we cave here, hunt here, are outlaws, and in time may make some stronger head, the which he hearing, as it is like him, might break out and swear he'll fetch us in. And yet, it's not probable to come alone, either he so undertaking, or they so suffering, then on good ground we fear, if we do fear, this body hath a tale more perilous than the head.
Let ordinance come as the gods foresay it. Howsoever, my brother hath done well.
I had no mind to hunt this day. The boy Fidele's sickness did make my way long forth.
with his own sword, which he did wave against my throat. I have ta'en his head from him. I'll throw it into the creek behind our rock and let it to the sea, and tell the fishes, he's the queen's son, Cloten. That's all I reek.
I fear 'twill be revenged. Would Polydore thou hadst not done it. Though valor becomes thee well enough.
Would I had done't, so that revenge alone pursued me. Polydore, I love thee, brother, but envy much thou hast robbed me of this deed. Would revenges that possible strength might meet, would seek us through and put us to our answer.
Well, 'tis done. We'll hunt no more today, nor seek for danger where there's no profit. I prithee to our rock. You and Fidele play the cooks. I'll stay till hasty Polydore return, and bring him to dinner presently.
Poor sick Fidele, how willing to him to gain his colour. I'd let her perish of such Cloten's blood, and praise myself for charity.
Oh, thou goddess, thou divine nectar, thou thyself thou blazonest in these two princely boys. They are as gentle as zephyrs blowing below the violet, not wagging his sweet head, and yet as rough their royal blood enchafed as the rudest wind that by the top doth take the mountain pine and make him stoop to the vale. 'Tis wonder that an invisible instinct should frame them to royalty unlearned, honor untaught, civility not seen from other, valor that wildly grows in them but yields a crop as if it had been sowed. Yet still it's strange what Cloten's being here to us portends, or what his death will bring us. Enter Guiderius.
Where's my brother? I've sent Cloten's clap-pole down the stream in embassy to his mother, his body's hostage for his return.
Solemn music. My ingenious instrument. Hark, Polydore, it sounds, but what occasion hath Cadwal now to give it motion? Hark!
Is he at home?
He went hence even now.
What does he mean? Since death of my dear mother, it did not speak before. All solemn things should answer solemn accidents. The matter? Triumphs for nothing, and lamenting toys is jollity for apes and grief for boys. Is Cadwal mad?
Enter Arviragus with Imogen dead, bearing her in his arms. Look, here he comes, and brings the dire occasion in his arms of what we blame him for.
The bird is dead, and we have made so much on. I had rather skipped from 16 years of age to 60 to have turned my leaping tone into a crutch than have seen this.
Oh, sweetest, fairest Lily, my brother wears thee not the one half so well as when thou grewest thyself.
Oh, melancholy, whoever yet could sound thy bottom, find the ooze to show what coast thy sluggish care mightst easiest harbor in. Thou blessed thing, Jove knows what man thou mightst have made, but thou diedst a most rare boy of melancholy. How found you him?
Stark as you see, thus smiling as some fly had tickled slumber, not as death's dart being laughed at, his right cheek reposing on a cushion.
Where?
On the floor, his arms thus leagued. I thought he slept, and put my clouted brogues from off my feet, whose rudeness answered my steps too loud.
Why, he but sleeps. If he be gone, he'll make his grave a bed. With female fairies will his tomb be haunted, and worms will not come today.
With fairest flowers, whilst summer lasts, and I live here, Fidel, I'll sweeten thy sad grave. Shalt not lack the flower that's like thy face, pale primrose, nor the azur'd harebell like thy veins, no, nor the leaf of eglantine, whom not to slander outsweetened not thy breath. The radic would with charitable bill, oh Bill, sore shaming those rich letters that lie, bring thee all this, yea, and furred moss besides, when flowers are none to winter ground thy course.
Prithee have done, and do not play in wench-like words with that which is so serious. Let us bury him, and not protract with admiration what is now due debt to the grave.
Say, Welsh has left.
My good Euryphile, our mother.
Be it so. And let us, Polydore, our voices have got the mannish crack, sing him to the ground as once to our mother. Use like note and words, save that Euryphile must be fidel.
Cadwal, I cannot sing. I'll weep and word it with thee, for notes of sorrow out of tune are worse than priests and fanes that lie.
We'll speak it then.
Great griefs I see, medicine the less, for Cloten is quite forgot. He was a queen's son, boys, and though he came our enemy, remember, he was paid for that. Though mean and mighty rotting together have one dust, yet reverence, the angel of the world, doth make distinction of place tween high and low. Our foe was princely, and though you took his life as being our foe, yet bury him as a prince.
Pray you fetch him hither. Thersites' body is as good as Ajax when neither are alive.
If you'll go fetch him, we'll say a song the whilst. Brother, begin.
Nay, Cadwal, we must lay his head to the east. My father had a reason for it.
'Tis true.
Come on then and remove him.
So begin.
Fear no more the heat of the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. Thou thy worldly task hast done, home art gone, and ta'en thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepers, come to dust. Fear no more the frown of the great. Thou art past the tyrant's stroke. Care no more to clothe and eat. To thee the reed is as the oak. The scepter, learning, physic, must all follow this and come to dust. Fear no more the lightning flash, nor the all-dreaded thunderstone. Fear not slander, censure rash. Thou hast finished joy and moan. All lovers young, all lovers must consign to thee and come to dust. No exorcises harm thee, nor witchcraft charm thee. Ghost only forbear thee, nothing ill come near thee. Quiet consummation have, and renowned be thy grave.
Enter Belarius with the body of Cloten.
We have done our obsequies. Come, lay him down.
Here's a few flowers, but 'bout midnight more. The herbs that have on them cold dew of the night are strewings fits for graves. Upon their faces you are as flowers, now withered even so. These herbalets which we upon you strew, come on away. Apart our knees, the ground that gave them first has them again. Their pleasures here are past, so are their pain. Exeunt. Imogen awakes.
Yes, sir, to Milford Haven. Which is the way? I thank you by yon bush. Pray, how far tether? Odds Pittikin, can it be 6 mile yet? I have gone all night. Faith, I'll lie down and sleep, but soft. No bedfellow? Oh, gods and goddesses, these flowers are like the pleasures of the world. This bloody man, the care on it. I hope I dream, for so I thought I was a cave keeper and cook to honest creatures, but 'tis not so. 'Twas but a bolt of nothing shot, and nothing which the brain makes of fumes. Our very eyes are sometimes like our judgments, blind. Good faith, I tremble still with fear, but if there be yet left in heaven as small a drop of pity as a wren's eye, feared gods, a part of it. The dream's here still, even when I wake it is without me as within me, not imagined, felt. Headless man, the garments of Posthumus. I know the shape of his leg. This is his hand, his foot, Mercurial, his martial thigh, the bronze of Hercules. But his jovial face. Murder in heaven, how? 'Tis gone, Pisanio. All curses mad at Hecuba gave the Greeks, and mine to boot be darted on thee. Thou conspired with the irregulous devil Cloten, hath here cut off my lord. To write and read be henceforth treacherous. Damned Pisanio hath with his forged letters. Damned Pisanio from the most bravest vessel of the world struck the maintop. Oh, Posthumus, alas, where is thy head? Where's that me? Where's that Pisanio might have killed thee at the heart and left his head on? How should this be, Pisanio? 'Tis he and Cloten. Malice and lucre in them have laid this woe here. Oh, 'tis pregnant, the drug he gave me, which he said was precious and cordial to me. Have I not found it murderous to the senses? That confirms at home this is Pisanio's deed, and Cloten. Oh! Give color to my pale cheek with thy blood, that we, the horridor, may seem to those which chance to find us. Oh, my lord! My lord!
Enter Lucius, captains, and a soothsayer.
To them. The legions garrisoned at Gallia after your will have crossed the sea, attending you here at Milford Haven. With your ships, they are here in readiness.
But what of Rome? What from Rome?
The Senate hath stirred up the confiners and gentlemen of Italy, most willing spirits that promise noble service, and they come under the conduct of bold Iachimo, Sienna's brother.
When you expect them?
With the next benefit of the wind.
This forwardness makes our hopes fair. Command our present numbers. We mustered. Bid the captains look to it. Now, sir, what have you dreamed of late of this war's purpose?
Last night, the very gods showed me a vision. I fast and pray for their intelligence thus. I saw Jove's bird, the Roman eagle, winged from the spongy south to this part of the west. There, vanished in the sunbeams, which portends, unless my sins abuse my divination, Success to the Roman host.
Dream often so, and never false. Soft, ho, what trunk is here? Without his top? The ruin speaks that sometime it was worthy building. How? A page? Or dead, or sleeping on him? But dead rather, for nature doth abhor to make his bed with the defunct, or sleep upon the dead. Let's see the boy's face.
He's alive, my lord.
Here, that instruct us of this body. Young one, inform us of thy fortunes, for it seems they crave to be demanded. Who is this that makes thy bloody pillow? Who was he that, otherwise than noble nature, did have altered that good picture? What's thy interest in this sad wreck? How caped? What art thou?
I am nothing. Or if not, nothing to be were better. This was my master, a very valiant Briton, and a good that here by mountaineers lies slain. Master, alas, there is no more such masters. I may wander from east to occident, cry out for service, try many, all good, serve truly, never find such another master.
Lack, good youth, thou movest no less with thy complaining than thy master in bleeding. Say his name, good friend.
Richard Duchamp. If I do lie and do no harm by it, though the gods hear, I hope they'll pardon it. Say you, sir?
Thy name?
Fidele, sir.
Thou dost approve thyself the very same. Thy name well fits thy faith. Thy faith, thy name. Wilt take thy chance with me? I will not say thou shalt be so well mastered, but to be sure no less beloved. The Roman emperor's letter sent by a consul to me should not sooner than thine own worth prefer thee. Go with me.
I'll follow, sir, but first, and please the gods, I'll hide my master from the flies, as deep as these poor pickaxes can dig. And when with wildwood leaves and weeds I have strewed his grave, and on it set a century of prayers, such as I can, twice o'er, I'll weep and sigh, and leaving so his service, follow you. So please you entertain me.
Aye, good youth, and I'd rather father thee than master thee. My friends, the boy hath taught us manly duties. Let us find out the prettiest daisy plot we can, and make him with our pikes and partisans a grave. Come, on him. Boy, he's preferred by thee to us, and he shall be interred as soldiers can. Be cheerful, wipe thine eyes. Some falls are means the happier to arise.
Exeunt. Scene tertia. Enter Cymbeline, lords, and Pisanio.
Again, and bring me word how 'tis with her. A fever with the absence of her son, a madness of which her life's in danger. Heavens, how deeply you at once do touch me. Imogen, the great part of my comfort gone, my queen upon a desperate bed, and in a time when fearful wars point at me, her son gone, so needful for this present. It strikes me past the hope of comfort. But for thee, fellow, who needs must know of her departure, and doth seem so ignorant, we'll enforce it from thee by a sharp torture.
Sir, my life is yours. I humbly set it at your will. But for my mistress, I nothing know where she remains, why gone, nor when she purposes return. Beseech your highness, hold me your loyal servant.
Good my liege, the day that he was missing, he was here. And dare be bound he's true, and shall perform all parts of his subjection loyally. For Cloten, there wants no diligence in seeking him, and will no doubt be found.
The time is troublesome. We'll slip you for a season, but our jealousy does yet depend.
So please your majesty, the Roman legions all from Gallia drawn and landed on your coast with a supply of Roman gentlemen.
Now for the counsel of my son and queen, I am amazed with matter.
Now, good my liege, your preparation can affront no less than what you hear of. Come more, for more you're ready. The want is but to put those powers in motion, at long to move.
I thank you. Let's withdraw and meet the time as it seeks us. We fear not what can from Italy annoy us, but we grieve at chances here. Away!
Exeunt.
I've heard no letter from my master since I rode on Imogen was slain. 'Tis strange, nor hear I from my mistress. It did promise to yield me often tidings. Neither know I what is betide to Cloten, but remain perplexed in awe. The heavens still must work, wherein I am false, I am honest, not true to be true. These present wars shall find I love my country, even to the note of the king, or I'll follow them. All other doubts, a time let them be cleared. Fortune brings in some boats that are not steered.
Exit. Scena quarta. Enter Belarius, Guiderius, and Arviragus.
The noise is round about us.
Let us from it. Arviragus. Arviragus.
What pleasure, sir, we find in life to lock it from action and adventure?
Nay, what hope have we in hiding us? This way the Romans must, or for Britons slay us or receive us for barbarous and unnatural revolts during their use, and slay us after.
Sons, we'll hire to the mountains, there secure us. To the king's party there's no going. Newness of Cloten's death, we being not known, not mustered among the bands, may drive us to render where we have lived, and so extort from us that which we have done, whose answer would be death drawn on with torture.
This is, sir, a doubt in such a time, nothing becoming you nor satisfying us.
It is not likely that when they hear their Roman horses nigh, behold their quartered fires, have both their eyes and ears so cloyed importantly as now, that they will waste their time upon our note to know from whence we are.
Oh, I am known of many in the army, many years, though Cloten then but young, you see not wore him from my remembrance. And besides, the king hath not deserved my service, nor your lives, who find in my exile the want of breeding, the certainty of this herd life, I hopeless to have the courtesy your cradle promised, but to be still hot summer tanlings and the shrinking slaves of winter.
Then be so, better to cease to be. Pray, sir, to the army I and my brother are not known. Yourself so out of thought, and thereto so o'ergrown, cannot be questioned.
By the sun that shines, I'll thither. What thing is that I never did see man die, scarce ever looked on blood but that of coward hares, hot goats, and venison? Never bestrid a horse save one that had a rider like myself, who ne'er wore roll nor iron on his heel. I'm ashamed to look upon the holy sun, to have the benefit of his blessed beams, remaining so long a poor unknown.
By heaven, I'll go. If you will bless me, sir, and give me leave, I'll take the better care. But if you will not, the hazard, therefore, you fall on me by the hands of Romans.
So say I. Amen.
No reason I, since of your lives you set so slight a valuation, should reserve my cracked one to more care. Have with you, boys, if in your country wars you chance to die, that is my bed too, lads, and there I'll lie. Lead, lead, and the time seems long, their blood thinks scorn, till it fly out and show them princes born. Exeunt. Actus Quintus. Scena prima. Enter Posthumus alone.
Yea, bloody cloth. I'll keep thee, for I am wished that stoodst be color thus. You married one Ones, if each you should take this course, how many must murder wives much better than themselves for wrying but a little? Oh, Bassanio, every good servant does not all commands, no bond, but does to do just ones. Gods, if you ever shouldst have ta'en vengeance on my faults, I never have lived to put on this. Oh, so you saved the noble Imogen to repent and struck me, wretch, more worth your vengeance. But alack, you snatch some hence for little faults that love to have them fall no more. You some permit to second ills with ills, each elder worst, and make them dread it to the doer's shift. But Imogen is your own. Do your best. Do your best, Wells, and make me blessed to obey. I am brought hither among the Italian gentry to fight against the lady's kingdom. 'Tis enough that Britain would have killed thy mistress. Peace. I'll give no wound to thee. Therefore, good heavens, hear patiently may purpose. I'll disrobe me of these Italian weeds and suit myself as do Britain's presence, and I'll fight against the part I come with. So I'll die for thee, oh Imogen, even for whom my life is every breath a death, and thus unknown, pitied, nor hated, to the face of peril, myself I'll dedicate. Let me make men know more valor in me than my habits show. Gods, put the strength of Leonati in me to shame the guise of the worlds I will begin to fashion less without and more within.
Exit Sina Secunda. Enter Lucius, Iachimo, and the Roman army at one door, and the Briton army at another. Leonatus Posthumus following like a poor soldier. They march over and go out. Then enter again in skirmish, Iachimo and Posthumus. He vanquisheth and disarmeth Iachimo, and then leaves him.
The heaviness and guilt within my bosom takes off my manhood. I have belied a lady, the princess of this country, and the air on it revengingly enfeebles me. Or could this Carl, a very drudge of nature's, have subdued me in my profession? Knighthoods and honors born as I weary mine are titles but of scorn. If that thy gentry, Britain, go before this lout as he exceeds our lords, the odds is that we scarce are men and you are gods.
Exit. The battle continues. The Britons fly. Cymbeline is taken. Then enter to his rescue Belarius, Guiderius, and Arviragus. Stand, stand. We have the advantage of the ground. The lane is guarded. Nothing routs us but the villainy of our fears.
Stand and fight.
Stand and fight.
Enter Posthumus and seconds the Britons. They rescue Cymbeline and Exeunt. Then enter Lucius, Iachimo, and Imogen.
Away from the troops and save thyself, for friends kill friends, and the disorders such as war were hoodwinked.
'Tis their fresh supplies.
It is a day turned strangely, or betimes let's reinforce or fly.
Exeunt, Sina Tertia, enter Posthumus and a Briton lord. Briton lord.
Lord?
Camest thou from where they made the stand?
I did, though it seems come from the flyers.
I did.
No blame to you, sir, for all was lost, but that the heavens fought, the king himself of his wings destitute, the army broken, and but the backs of Britain seemed all flying through a straight line, the enemy full-hearted, lolling and tongued with slaughtering, have worked more plentiful than tools to do it, struck down some mortally, some slightly touched, some falling merely through fear, at the Straits Pass was damned with dead men herding behind, with cowards living to die with the lengthened shame.
Where was this lane?
Close by the battle, ditched and wrathed with turf, gave advantage to an ancient soldier, an honest one, I warrant, who deserves so long a breeding as his white beard came to, in doing this for his country, thwarted a lane. He and two striplings, lads more to run the country base than to commit such slaughter, with faces fit for masks, or rather frayer than the preservation canst or shame, made good passage, cried to all that fled, our Britain's hearts are die flying, not our men to darkness, fleet soul that apply backwards. Stand, or we are Romans, and will give you that like beast that you shun beastly may serve to look back and frown. Stand, stand, to these, the 3,000 confident, and acts as many, for 3 performers are as file when all do rest, do nothing. With this word, stand, stand, accommodated by the place, more charming than their own nobleness could have turned a distaff to the lance, gilded pale looks, put shame, part spirits renew, and some turn coward by the example, a sin in war, damned to be the first beginners, gain to look the way they did, and grin like lions upon the pikes of the hunters, then began to stop at the chasers and retire anon, a rout, confusion thick. Forthwith they fly, chickens, the way they spotted eagles, slaves, the strides that victors made, and now our cowards, like fragments, the hard voyage became the life of the need. Having found the backboard open of the unguarded hearts, heavens, how they wound, some slain before some dying, some of their friends o'erborne the former wave, 10 chaked by one, and now are each the slaughtered man of 20. And now those that would die or ere resist are grown the mortal bug of the field.
This was a strange tent, a narrow lane, an old man and 2 boys.
Nay, do not wonder at it. You are made rather to wonder at the things you hear than work any. Will you rhyme on't and vent with a mockery? Here is one. 2 boys, an old man, twice a boy, lane, preserved the Britons that was the Roman bane.
Nay, be not angry, sir.
Lack, to what end? Who dares not stand the foe, I'll be his friend. If he'll do as he is made to do, I'll know he'll quickly fly my friendship too. Oh, you have put me into Rome.
Farewell, you're angry.
Still going. This is a lord, a noble misery to be in the field, and what ask him news of me today? How many would have given their honors to have saved their carcasses, took heel to do it, and yet died too. I, in mine own woo charms, could not find death. Where I did hear him groan, nor feel where he stood, where he struck. Being an ugly monster, 'tis strange he hides amid his fresh cups, soft beds, sweet words, or hath mo ministers when we have drawn knives of the war. Oh, well, I'll find him now, being now a favor of the Briton, no more Britain. I've resumed again that parts that I veriest hind, that shall once touch my shoulder. Great is the slaughter is, hereby made the Roman. Great the answer be, the Britons must take. For me, my ransom's death, on the either side I come to spend my breath, which neither here I'll keep, nor bear again, and end it by some means for Imogen.
Enter 2 captains and soldiers.
Great Jupiter be praised! Lucius is taken. Just thought the old man and his sons were angels.
There was a 4th man in a silly habit that gave the front with them.
So 'tis reported, but none of them can be found.
A Roman.
Who's there?
A Roman who had not now been drooping here if seconds had answered him.
Lay hands on him!
Lay hands on him! A dog, a leg of Rome shall not return to tell what crows have pecked him here. He brags his service as if he were of note. Bring him to the king.
Enter Cymbeline, Belarius, Guiderius, Arviragus, Pisanio, and Roman captives. The captains present Posthumus to Cymbeline, who delivers him over to a jailer. Scena quarta. Enter Posthumus and jailer.
You shall not now be stolen. You have locks upon you, so graze as you find pasture.
Your stomach.
Most welcome bondage, for thou art a way, I think, to liberty. Yet I am better than one that's sick of the gout, since he hath rather grown so in perpetuity than be cured by the sure physician, death, who is the key to unbar these locks. My conscience, thou art fetter, more than my shanks and wrists. You good gods, give me the patient instrument to pick that bolt, then free forever. Is it enough? I am sorry. So children, temporal fathers do appease. Gods are more full of mercy. Must I repent? I cannot do it better than the jives, despired, more than constrained to satisfy. If of my freedom 'tis the main part, take no stricter render of me than my all. I know you are more clement than viled men, who of their broken debaters take a third, a sixth, a tenth, letting them strive again for their abatements, then is not my desire. For Imogen's dear life, take mine, and though 'tis not so dear, yet 'tis a life, you conveyed it. Tween man and man, they wait not every stamp, though light take peace for the figure's sake. You rather, being mine being yours, and so great powers, if you will take this audit, take this life, and cancel these cold bonds. Oh, Imogen, I'll speak to thee in silence.
Solemn music. Enter, as in an apparition, Caecilius Leonatus, father to Posthumus, an old man attired like a warrior, leading in his hand an ancient matron, his wife and mother to Posthumus, with music before them. Then, after other music, follows the two young Leonati, brothers to Posthumus, with wounds as they died in the wars. They circle Posthumus round as he lies sleeping.
No more, thou thunder master, show thy spite on mortal flies. With Mars fall out, with Juno chide that thy adulteries, rates and revenges. Hath my poor boy done aught but well, whose face I never saw? I died whilst in the womb he stayed, attending nature's law. Whose father then, as men report, thou orphan's father art. Thou shouldst have been and shielded him from this earth vexing smart.
Lucina lent me not her aid, but took me in my throes, that from me was Posthumus ripped, came crying mongst his foes, a thing of pity.
Great nature, like his ancestry, molded the stuff so fair that he deserved the praise of the world, as great Cecilia's heir.
Once he was mature for man. In Britain, where was he? That could stand up his parallel, or fruitful object be? And I of Imogen, that best could deem his dignity.
With marriage wherefore was he mocked, to be exiled and thrown from Leonati's seat, and cast from her, his dearest one, sweet Imogen.
Why did you suffer Iachimo, slight thing of Italy, to taint his nobler heart and brain with needless jealousy, and to become the geek and scorn of others' villainy?
For this from stiller seats we came, our parents and us twain, that striking in our country's cause fell bravely and were slain, our fealty and tenacious right with honor to maintain.
Like Cardamon, Posthumus hath to Cymbeline performed. Then Jupiter, you king of gods, why hast you thus adjourned the graces for his merits due, being all to dolors turned?
Thy crystal window ope. Look, look out! No longer exercise upon a valiant race thy harsh and potent injuries.
Since Jupiter our son is good, take off his miseries.
Peep through thy marble mansion, help, or we poor ghosts will cry to the shining synod of the rest against thy deity.
Help, Jupiter, or we appeal, and from thy justice fly.
Jupiter descends in thunder and lightning, sitting upon an eagle. He throws a thunderbolt. The ghosts fall on their knees.
No more, you petty spirits of region low, offend our hearing. Hush! How dare you ghosts accuse the thunderer, whose bolt, you know, sky-planted batters o'er rebelling coasts? Poor shadows of Elysium, hence and rest upon your never-withering banks of flowers. Be not with mortal accidents suppressed. No care of yours it is, you know 'tis ours. Whom best I love, I cross, to make my gift the more delayed, delighted. Be content, your low-laid son, our Godhead will uplift. His comforts thrive, his trials well are spent. Our jovial star reigned at his birth, and in our temple was he marred. Rise and fade, he shall be lord of Lady Imogen, and happier much of his affliction made. This tablet lay upon his breast, where at our pleasure his full fortune doth confine. And so away, no further with your dine. Express impatience, lest you stir up mine. Mount, Eagle, to my palace crystalline.
Ascends.
He came in thunder. His celestial breath was sulphurous to smell. The holy eagle stooped as to foot us. His ascension is more sweet than our blessed fields. His royal bird prunes the immortal wing and cloys his beak as when his God is pleased.
Thanks, Jupiter.
The marble pavement closes. He has entered his radiant roof. Away, and to be blessed, let us with care perform his great behest.
Vanish.
Sleep. Oh, thou hast been a grandsire and begot a father to me, and thou hast created a mother and two brothers. But, oh, scorn, gone when they went hence as soon as they were born. Oh, and so I am awake. Poor wretches that depend on greatness favor dream as I have done. Wake and find nothing, but alas, I swerve. Many dream, do not find, neither deserve, and yet are steeped in favors. So am I, that have this golden chance and know not why. What fairies haunt this ground? A book? A rare one? Be not as this fangled world a garment nobler than that it covers. Let thy efforts so hollow to be most unlike our courtiers, as good as promise. When he has a lion's whelped shall himself unknown without seeking find, and be embraced by a peer of tender air, and when from a stately cedar shall be lopped branches, which being dead many years shall after revive, be joined to the old stock, and freshly grow, then shall Posthumus end his miseries, Britain be fortunate, and flowers in peace and plenty. Still, this is a dream. 'Tis still a dream, or else such stuff as madmen tongue and brain not, either both or nothing, or senseless speaking, or a speaking such a sense cannot untie. Be what it is. The action of my life is like it, and I'll keep, if but for sympathy.
Enter jailer.
Come, sir.
Oh, come, sir. Are you ready for death?
Oh, for roasted, rather. Ready long ago.
Hanging is the word, sir. If you be ready for that, you're well cooked.
So, if I prove a good repist to the spectators, the dish pays the shot.
A heavy reckoning for you, sir. But the comfort is you shall be called to no more payments. Fear no more tavern bills, which are often the sadness of parting, as the procuring of mirth. You come in faint for want of meat, depart reeling with too much drink. Sorry that you have paid too much, and sorry that you are paid too much. Purse and brain both empty. The brain the heavier for being too light, the purse too light being drawn of heaviness. Oh, of this contradiction you shall now be quit. Oh, the charity of a penny cord, it sums up thousands in a trice. You have no true debtor and creditor, but it, of what past is and to come, the discharge. Your nexus is pen, book, and counters. So the acquittance follows.
I am merrier to die than thou art to live.
Indeed, sir, he that sleeps feels not the toothache, but a man that were to sleep your sleep and a hangman to help him to bed, I think he would change places with his officer. For look you, sir, you know not which way you shall go.
Yes, indeed I do, fellow.
Oh, your death has eyes in's head then? I've not seen him so pictured. You must either be directed by some that take upon them to know, or to take upon yourself that which I'm sure you do not know, or jump the after inquiry on your own peril. And how you shall speed in your journey's end, I think you'll never return to tell one.
I tell thee, fellow, there are none want eyes to direct them the way I am going, but such as wink and will not use them.
Oh, what an infinite mock is this, that a man should have the best use of his eyes to see the way of blindness. Oh, I'm sure hanging's the way of winking.
Enter a messenger.
Knock off his manacles. Bring your prisoner to the king.
Oh, brings good news. I am called to be made free.
I'll be hanged then.
Thou shalt be then freer than the jailer. No bolts for the dead.
Unless a man would marry a gallows and beget young gibbets. I never before saw one so prone. Yet on my conscience there are verier knaves desire to live, for all he be a Roman, and there be some of them that too that die against their willies. So should I if I were one. I would we were all of one mind, and one mind good. Oh, there were desolation of jailers and gallowses. I speak against my present profit, but my wish hath a preferment in't.
Exeunt. Scena Quinta. Enter Cymbeline, Belarius, Cadarius, Arviragus, Pisanio, and lords.
Stand by my side, you whom the gods have made preservers of my throne. Woe is my heart, that the poor soldier that so richly fought, whose rags shamed gilded arms, whose naked breast stepped before charges of proof, cannot be found. He shall be happy that can find him, if our grace can make him so.
I never saw such noble fury in so poor a thing, such precious deeds in one that promised naught but beggary and poor looks.
No tidings of him?
He has been searched among the dead and living, but no trace of him.
To my grief, I am the heir of his reward, which I will add to you, the liver, heart, and brain of Britain, by whom I grant she lives. 'Tis now the time to ask of whence you are. Report it.
Sir, in Cambria are we born, and gentlemen further to boast were neither true nor modest, unless I add, we are honest.
bow your knees. Arise, my knights of the battle. I create you companions to our person and will fit you with dignities becoming your estates.
Enter Cornelius and ladies.
There's business in these faces. Why so sadly greet you our victory? You look like Romans and not of the court of Britain.
Hail, great king. To sorrow your happiness, I must report the queen is dead.
Who worse than a physician would this report become? But I consider by medicine life may be prolonged, yet death will seize the doctor too. How ended she?
With her madly dying like her life, which, being cruel to the world, concluded most cruel to herself. But she confessed, I will report, so please you. These her women can trip me if I err, who with wet cheeks were present when she finished.
Prithee say.
First, she confessed she never loved you, only affected greatness got by you, not you, married your royalty, who was wife to your place, aboard your person.
She alone knew this, and but she spoke it dying. I would not believe her lips in opening it. But proceed.
Your daughter, whom she bore in hand to love with such integrity, she did confess, was a scorpion to her sight, whose life, but that her fight in yes.
Oh, most delicate fiend.
Yes, sir. Oh yes, king.
Who is can read a woman? Is there more?
More, sir, and worse. She did confess she had for you a mortal mineral, which being took, should be the minute feed on life and lingering. By inches waste you, in which time she purposed by watching, weeping, tendance, kissing, to o'ercome you with her show. And in time, when she had fitted you with her craft to work, her son went to the adoption of the crown, but failing of her end by his strange absence, grew shameless, desperate, opened, in despite of heaven and men, her purposes, repented the evils she hatched were not effected, so despairing died.
Heard you all this, her women?
We did, my lord.
Mine eyes were not in fault, for she was beautiful. Mine ears that heard her flattery, nor my heart that thought her like her seeming. It had been vicious to have mistrusted her, yet, oh, my daughter, that what was folly in me thou mayest say, and prove it in thy feeling. Heaven mend all.
Enter Lucius, Iachimo, and other Roman prisoners, Leonatus behind, and Imogen.
Thou comest not, Caius, now for tribute that the Britons have raced out, but with the loss of many a bold one whose kinsman hath made suit, that their good souls may be appeased with slaughter of you their captives, which ourself have granted. So think you of your estate.
Consider, sir, the chance of war. The day was yours by accident. Had it gone with us, we should not, when the blood was cool, have threatened our prisoners with the sword. But since the gods will have it thus, that nothing with our lives may be called ransom, let it come. Sufficeth, a Roman with a Roman's heart can suffer. Augustus lives to think on it, and so much for my peculiar care. This one thing only I will entreat, my boy, a Briton born, let him be ransomed. Never master had a page so kind, so duteous, diligent, so tender over his occasions through, so feet, so nurse-like. Let his venture join with my request, which I'll make bold. Your Highness cannot deny. He has done no Briton harm, though he's have served a Roman. Save him, sir, and spare no blood beside.
I have surely seen him. His favor is familiar to me. Boy, thou hast looked thyself into my grace, and art mine own. I know not why, wherefore, to see. Live, boy, Now thank thy master, live, and ask of Cymbeline what boon thou wilt. Fitting my bounty and thy state, I'll give it. Say, though thou do demand a prisoner, the noblest king.
I humbly thank your highness.
I do not bid thee beg my life, good lad, and yet I know thy won't.
No, no, alack. There's other work in hand. I see a thing bitter to me as death, your life, good master, most shuffle for itself.
The boy disdains me, he leaves me, scorns me, briefly die their joys that place them on the truth of girls and boys. Why stands he so perplexed?
What wouldst thou, boy? I love thee more and more, think more and more what best to ask. Knowest him that lookst on? Speak, wilt have him live? Is he thy kin, thy friend?
He is a Roman, no more kin to me than I to your highness, who, being born your vessel, am something nearer.
Wherefore iced him so?
I'll tell you, sir, in private, if you please to give me hearing.
I, with all my heart, and lend my best attention. What's thy name?
Fidele, sir.
Thou art my good youth, my page, I'll be thy master. Walk with me, speak freely.
Not this boy revived from death?
One sand another not more resembles that sweet rosy lad who died and was Fidele. What think thou?
The same dead king alive.
Peace, peace, see further. He eyes us not, forbear. Creatures may be alike. Were it he, I'm sure he would have spoke to us.
But we see him dead.
Be silent. Let's see further.
It is my mistress. Since she is living, let the time run on to good or bad.
Come, stand thou by our side, make thy demand aloud. Sir, step thou you forth, give answer to this boy, and do it freely. Or by our greatness and the grace of it, which is our honor, bitter torture shall winnow the truth from falsehood. One speak to him.
My boon is that this gentleman may render of whom he had this ring.
What's that to him?
A diamond upon your finger. Say, how it came at yours.
Thou torture me to leave unspoken that which to he spoke. You torture me.
How? Me?
I'm glad to be constrained to utter that which torments me to conceal. By villainy I got this ring. 'Twas Leonatus' jewel, whom thou didst banish, and which may more grieve thee, as it doth me. A nobler sir ne'er lived twixt sky and ground. Wilt thou hear more, my lord?
All that belongs to this.
That paragon, thy daughter, for whom my heart drops blood and my full spirits quail to remember. Give me leave, I faint.
My daughter, what of her? Renew thy strength. I'd rather thou shouldst live while nature will. Die ere I hear more. Strive, man, and speak.
Upon a time, unhappy was the clock that struck the hour. It was in Rome, accursed the mansion where 'twas at a feast. Oh, would our viands have been poisoned, or at least those which I heaved to head. The good Posthumus, which should I say he was too good to be where ill men were, and was the best of all amongst the rarest of good ones. Sitting sadly, hearing us praise our loves of Italy for beauty that made barren the swelled boast of him that best could speak. For feature, laming the shrine of Venus or straight-piped Minerva, postures beyond brief nature, for condition, a shop of all the qualities that man loves woman for. Besides that hook of wiving, fairness which strikes the eye.
I stand on fire. Then come to the matter.
All too soon I shall, unless thou wouldst grieve quickly. This Posthumus, most like a noble lord, in love, and one that had a royal lover, took his hint, and, not dispraising whom we praised, therein he was as calm as virtue. He began his mistress' picture, which by his tongue being made, and then a mind put into it, either our brags were craved of kitchen trulls, or his description proved us unspeaking sots.
Nay, nay, to the purpose.
Your daughter's chastity. There it begins. He spoke of her as Dian had hot dreams, and she alone were cold. Whereat I, wretch, made scruple of his praise, and wagered with him pieces of gold 'gainst this, which then he wore upon his honored finger, to attain in sweet the place of his bed, and win the ring by hers and mine adultery. He, true knight, no lesser of her honor confident than I did truly find her, stakes this ring, and would so, had it been a carbuncle of Phoebus's will, and might so safely had it been all the worth of his care. Away to Britain post I in this design. Well may you, sir, remember me at court, where I was taught of your chaste daughter the wide difference twixt amorous and villainous. Being thus quenched of hope, not longing, mine Italian brain gan in your duller Britain operate most vilely. For my vantage excellent, and to be brief, my practice so prevailed that I returned with similar proof enough to make the noble Leonatus mad by wounding his belief in her renown. With tokens thus and thus, of very notes of chamber hangings, pictures, this her bracelet, oh cunning how I got, nay, some marks of secret on her person that he could not but think her bond of chastity quite cracked. I having ta'en the fortune, the forfeit whereupon, methinks, I see him now.
Aye, so thou dost, Italian friend. I me, most credulous fool, egregious murderer, thief, anything that's due to all the villains past on being to come. Oh, give me a cord, a knife, a poison, some upright justicer, thou king, send out for torturers, ingenious. It is I that all the abhorred things of the earth amend by being worse than they. I am Posthumus, that killed thy daughter, villain-like. I lie, that caused a lesser villain than myself to die. Oh, than myself, a credulous thief to do it. The temple of virtue was she, yea, and she herself. Spit and throw stones, cast Mars upon me, set the dogs in the streets at bay me, every villain to be called Posthumus Leonatus, and be villainy less than 'twas. Oh, Imogen, my queen, my life, my wife. Oh, Imogen, Imogen!
Peace, my lord, here, here.
Shall's have a play of this, thou scornful page, there lie thy part.
Oh,
gentlemen, help! Mine and your mistress. Oh, my lord Posthumus, you ne'er killed Imogen till now. Help, help, my honored lady.
Does the world go round?
How comes these daggers on me?
Wake, my mistress.
If this be so, the gods do mean to strike me to death with mortal joy.
How fares my mistress?
oh, get thee from my sight. Thou gavest me poison, dangerous fellow, hence breathe not where princes are.
The tune of Imogen.
Lady, the gods shall stone a sulfur on me if that box I gave you was not thought by me a precious thing. I had it from the queen.
New matter still.
It poisoned me.
Oh, gods! Left out one thing which the queen confessed, which must have fooled thee honest. If Bassanio have, said she, given his mistress the confection, which I gave him for cordial, she is served as I would serve a rat.
What's this, Cornelius?
The queen, sir, very often importuned me to temper poisons for her, still pretending the satisfaction of her knowledge only in killing creatures wild as cats and dogs of no esteem. I, dreading that her purpose was of more danger, did compound for her a certain stuff which, being ta'en, would cease the present power of life, but in short time all offices of nature should again do their due functions. Have you ta'en of it?
Most like I did, for I was dead.
My boys, there was our error.
This is sure Fidele.
Why did you throw your wedded lady from you? Think that you are upon a rock, and now throw me again.
Hang there like fruit, my soul, till the tree die.
How now, my flesh, my child? What, makes thou me a dullard in this act? Wilt thou not speak to me?
Your blessing, sir.
Though you did love this youth, I blame ye not. You had a motive for it.
My tears that fall prove holy water on thee, Imogen. Thy mother's dead.
I am sorry for it, my lord.
Oh, she was not, and long of her it was that we met here so strangely. But her son is gone, and we know not how nor where.
Lord, now fear is from me, I'll speak truth. Lord Cloten, upon my lady's missing, came to me with his sword drawn, foamed at the mouth, and swore if I not discover not which way she was gone, it was my instant death. By accident, I had a feigned letter of my master's in my pocket, which directed him to seek her on the mountains near to Milford, where in a frenzy in my master's garments, which he enforced from me, away he posts with unchaste purpose, of the oath to violate my lady's honor. What became of him I further know not.
Guiderius.
Let me end the story. I slew him there.
Marry, the gods forfend, I would not thy good deed should from my lips pluck a hard sentence. Prithee, valiant youth, deny it again.
I have spoken, and I did it.
He was a prince.
A most incivil one. The wrongs he did me were nothing prince-like, for he did provoke me with language that would make me spurn the sea, if it could so roar to me. I cut off his head, and am right glad he's not standing here to tell this tale of mine.
I am sorrow for thee. By thine own tongue thou art condemned, and must endure our law. Thou art dead.
That headless man I thought had been my lord.
Bind the offender and take him from our presence.
Nay, Sir King, this man is better than the man he slew, as well descended as thyself, and hath more of thee merited than a band of Clotons had ever scar for. Let his arms alone, they were not born for bondage.
My old soldier, wilt thou undo the worth thou art unpaid for by tasting of our wrath? How of descent as good as we?
In that he spake too far.
And thou shalt die for it.
We will die all three, but I will prove that 2 ones are as good as I have given out. My sons, I must for my own part unfold a dangerous speech, though haply well for you.
Your danger's ours.
And our good his.
Have at it then. By leave, thou hadst, great king, a subject who was called Belarius.
What of him? He is a banished traitor.
He it is that hath assumed this age. Indeed, a banished man. I know not how, a traitor.
Take him hence, The whole world shall not save him.
Oh, not too hot. First, pay me for the nursing of thy sons, and let it be confiscate all so soon as I have received it.
Nursing of my sons?
I am too blunt and saucy. Here's my knee. Ere I arise, I will prefer my sons than spare not the old father. Mighty sir, these two young gentlemen that call me father and think they are my sons are none of mine. They are the issue of your loins, my liege, and blood of your begetting.
How? My issue?
So sure as you your fathers, I, old Morgan, am that Belarius, whom you sometime banished. Your pleasure was my mere offense, my punishment itself, and all my treason that I suffered was all the harm I did. These gentle princes, for such and so they are, these 20 years have I trained up. Those arts they have, as I have could put into them. My breeding was, sir, as your highness knows. Their nurse, Euryphile, whom for the theft I wedded, stole these children upon my banishment. I moved her to it, having received the punishment before for that which I did then. Beaten for loyalty excited me to treason. Their dear loss, the more of you 'twas felt, the more it shaped unto my end of stealing them. But gracious sir, here are your sons again, and I must lose two of the sweetest companions in the world. The benediction of these covering heavens fall on their heads like dew, for they are worthy to inlay heaven with stars.
Thou weep'st and speak'st. The service that you three have done is more unlike than this thou tell'st. I lost my children. If this be they, I know not how to wish a pair of worthier sons.
Be pleased a while. This gentleman, whom I called Polydor, most worthy prince, is as yours is true Guiderius. This gentleman, my Cadwell Arviragus, your younger princely son. He, sir, was lapped in a most curious mantle wrought by the hand of his queen mother, which for more probation I can with ease produce.
Guiderius had upon his neck a mole, a sanguine star. It was a mark of wonder.
This is he who hath upon him still that natural stamp. It was wise nature's end in the donation to be his evidence now.
Oh, what am I, a mother to the birth of three? Ne'er mother rejoiced deliverance more. Blessed pray you be that after this strange starting from your orbs, you may reign in them now. O Imogen, thou hast lost by this a kingdom.
No, my lord. I have got 2 words by it. Oh, my gentle brothers, have we thus met? Oh, never say hereafter, but I am truest speaker. You called me brother when I was but your sister. I, you brothers, when we were so indeed.
Did you e'er meet? Arviragus.
Aye, my good lord.
And at first meeting, loved, continued so, until we thought he died.
By the queen's dram she swallowed.
Oh, rare instinct! When shall I hear all through this fierce abridgment hath to its circumstantial branches, which distinction should be rich in? Where? How lived you? And when came you to serve our Roman captive? How parted with your brother? How first met them? Why fled you from the court? And whether these and your 3 motives to the battle, I know not how much more should be demanded, and all the other by dependencies from chance to chance. But nor the time nor place will serve our long interrogatories. See, Posthumus anchors upon Imogen, and she, like harmless lightning, throws her eye on him. Her brothers, me, her master, hitting each object with a joy, the counterchange is severally in all. Let's quit this ground and smoke the temple with our sacrifices. Thou art my brother, and so will hold thee ever.
You are my father too, and did relieve me to see this gracious season.
All o'erjoyed, save these in bonds. Let them be joyful too, for they shall taste our comfort.
My good master, I will yet do you service.
Lucius. Happy be you.
The forlorn soldier that no nobly fought would have well become this place and graced the thankings of a king.
I am, sir, the soldier that did company these three in poor beseeming 'twas a fitment for the purpose then I followed. That I was he, you speak Iachimo, I had you drown and might have you made to you finish.
I am down again, but now my heavy conscience sinks my knee as then your force did. Take that life, beseech you, which I so often own, but your ring first, and here the bracelet of the truest princess that ever swore her faith.
Kneel not to me. The power that I have on you is to spare you, the malice towards you, to forgive you, live and deal with others better.
Nobly doomed. We'll learn our freeness of our son-in-law. Pardons the word to all.
You help us, sir, as you did mean indeed to be our brother. Joyed are we that you are.
Your servants, princes, good my lord of Rome, call forth your soothsayer. As I slept, methought great Jupiter upon his eagle backed appeared to me with other sprightly shows of mine own kindred. When I waked, I found this label on my bosom, whose containing is so from sense and hardness that I can make no collection of it. Let him show his skill in the construction.
Philharmonas,
Here, my good lord.
read and declare the meaning.
When as a lion's whelp shall to himself unknown, without seeking find, and be embraced by a piece of tender air. And when from a stately cedar shall be lopped branches, which being dead many years shall after revive, be jointed to the old stock and freshly grow, then shall Posthumus end his miseries, written be fortunate, and flourish in peace and plenty. Thou, Leonatus, art the lion's whelp. The fit and apt construction of thy name being Leonatus doth import so much. The piece of tender air, thy virtuous daughter, which we call Malus air, and Malus air we term it Mulier, which Mulier I divine is this most constant wife, who even now, answering the letter of the oracle, unknown to you unsought, were clipped about with this most tender air.
This hath some seeming.
The lofty cedar, royal Cymbeline, personates thee, and thy lopped branches point thy two sons forth, who, by Belarius stolen for many years thought dead, are now revived to the majestic cedar joint. His issue promises Britain peace and plenty.
Well, my peace we will begin. And Caius Lucius, although the victor, we submit to Caesar and to the Roman Empire, promising to pay our wonted tribute, from which we were dissuaded by our wicked queen, whom heaven's injustice, both on her and hers, have laid most heavy hand.
The fingers of the powers above do tune the harmony of this peace. The vision which I made known to Lucius ere the stroke of yet the scarce cold battle, at this instant is full accomplished. For the Roman eagle from south to west, on wings soaring aloft, lessened herself, and in the beams of the sun so vanished, which foreshowed our princely eagle, the imperial Caesar, should again unite his favor with the radiant Cymbeline, which shines here in the west.
Laud we the gods, and let our crooked smokes climb to their nostrils from our blessed altars. Publish we this peace to all our subjects. Set we forward, let a Roman and a British ensign wave friendly together. So through Ludstown march, and in the temple of great Jupiter our peace we'll ratify. Seal it with feasts, set on there. Never was a war did cease, ere bloody hands were washed, with such a peace.
Exeunt fini. Done. Good job, everyone. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Derek, for putting together this this terrific cast. And do you have any sort of final comments you want to make, or?
Yeah, I would like to thank everyone, and I really really didn't know this show, and of course the fifth act is with all of the discoveries is really quite funny. But I have to really give my hand to Julie in particular, who you really were very slimy, and it's almost in the part role. I was like, wow. Yeah, hats off to you.
Thank you. I think.
Yeah, and really it goes. I mean, Imogen goes through so much, and
Oh, yes.
job by Elena and John and everyone. It was really
Thank you.
Michael.
I
And
think Imogen
Thank
is
you.
the most difficult part in the play. You know why? It works so against her because we, the audience, know that it's Clotten. And she has a heavy scene there where she breaks down crying. And I remember one performance, and Lily was doing a great job, but these people in back of me were in hysterics. And I wasn't, because I was feeling what she was feeling. And the actress was really committed. You've got to be, it's like, you know what I mean? Because the audience knows. And it's the joke, I mean, it's Clotton's head. It's Clotton's body without a head.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most difficult role in the play. I really do. I think that's
fine job, Elena.
Yeah, you did a good job, Elena.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice.
although I think really the hero of the play is Pisanio, who gets no thanks for it, but he really. He's smart enough not to do what Posthumus tells him to do, which then Posthumus would have thanked him for. And then the only thing is really that they sort of took at face value what the Queen had said about the medicine. But it really, it's like, yeah, but he came prepared. He had the thing, he's got the plan. I mean, it's like, we'll fake your death. It's like, he could be like a friar, for crying out loud. We'll fake your death. I've got your man clothes here. I mean, he really is a good servant.
But what do they call it's not a tragedy, because the only bad people who die in it are the Queen and Clotten. The only people who died in the Queen Clotten, and they're evil,
Mm-hmm.
It is a tragedy because it is called the Tragedy of Cymbeline, and it is the last play in the tragic section. I mean, that's why it's sort of now classified as a romance, along with the Tempest and Pericles.
Yeah.
As something sort of different, because it is the happiest tragedy. That's all.
As I recall, Shakespeare hadn't written anything for a few years, and people were nagging at him. So he churned out this one for the Globe.
I lost you.
And then also Tempest for the Blackfriars Theatre as two different styles, because this has got everything in it. It's a pure Globe crowd pleaser.
Well, whenever I see that thing about
you've got heroines, you've got armies, you've got people dying. I mean, it's
the kitchen
you have his it's not really poison, it's just going to make everybody think she's dead, like in Romeo and Juliet. And it also has, I just happened to have a fake letter on hand to mislead him with. Yeah. Oh, really? That's curious.
The circulation, have you seen about how they found resin in the pipes of marijuana resin or hashish resin in the pipes of Shakespeare? I said, no, that explains Cymbeline. You wrote it.
Yeah.
This was the crowd pleaser. The Tempest was the experimental play.
Yeah, that makes sense. It has headless bodies, which they would have had a lot of fun with that at the Globe.
Yes.
Michael, are you
armies marching in? Get jobs for everybody.
Titus was a big crowd pleaser, wasn't it? Wasn't Titus a big hit?
That was his early tragedy,
It was
right?
a big hit.
Oh yeah, lots of blood. They love the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Michael, did they really find marijuana in?
It's this thing I keep seeing circulating every now and then on Facebook, that they found traces of marijuana. I mean, probably.
Well, why not? What did Snopes say?
It was in, I don't know if there's anything about it on Snopes, but what I've read is that it's like in an area that was close to where he lived. So, I mean, the idea of saying, it's Shakespeare's, I mean, it could have been, it's from around that period. It's kind of near where he was, but there's no sort of definitive link of it.
I got these
Does actually show
pre-1937. It wasn't a big deal anywhere.
for a long time,
Yeah,
and that it was fairly common.
it was in medicine cabinets.
But
Really?